Phillies from ASU.
Three attorneys, Lerner and Roc. In Iraq and need a check? Make one call. It's all 602-97.
Interesting. Yeah, a lot of people at Cronkite did that. I never really got into it.
Line at LernerandRoc.com. Now time for Calling All Sports with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. On
Guys are
Sports 910.
We made it to Monday. Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B out here at the new sports book in the CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona. Back and better than ever. Right?
Yeah, Roc.
Mike Greenberg's
How you feeling
always
over there,
says on
buddy?
ESPN. I'm hanging in there. It's been
Okay.
it's been a little rough road, but I've been able to kind of dive through it.
Looks like you lost some weight.
I am down 15.
That's what I saw.
It's not because
Yeah?
I'm sick. No, I'm working.
It's a bad way to lose weight, fellas.
No, it is.
You don't want to be sick.
No.
You want to be
Actually, when I'm sick, I eat a lot
really.
because I'm bored.
Oh,
So I'm eating crap. Like I'm like, oh, let me make some ramen. Let's,
you have ramen in the house, Roc?
oh yeah, I got
Still?
I live by myself.
yeah.
I mean, no, but I also got steaks and salad, lettuce,
Yeah.
cucumbers and all that kind of stuff. But
I always
'Cause I-
have the
'cause I do
Swanson
the-
Salisbury steak.
yeah, I don't have those. But
There's
there's a fine
yourself now,
line.
Jimmy.
But no, I had Safeway delivers to my house.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a lazy ass, but I try to
Yeah.
But typically when I'm eating, I'm eating crap. I mean, it's like because you're looking for food to relax you. I mean, a lot of
Comfort
soup,
food. Yeah.
comfort food, yeah.
Comfort food. Absolutely.
And so
Peanut M&Ms.
I hate to say it, but I got those in Tootsie
I
Rolls.
got it. See,
I made a mistake about a month ago. I was in Costco and I said, all right, let me for Halloween. Not that I'm home on Halloween. I'm not home normally.
It's a tradition for you not to
Or
be
if
home.
I am home, the lights are off. But you saw the big bag of the assortment Tootsie Rolls and all the good stuff and Milk Duds, and I'm like, I'll have it ready just in case.
Right, sure.
Man, I plowed through that thing, and that's just not good.
You'll get a sugar buzz, Roc, and then it'll put you to sleep, so you'll sleep.
No,
really good.
sugar bud's supposed to keeps you
It
up.
gets you up, but when you crash off the sugar buzz, you crash. That's why I can't do that a lot of sugar in the morning. Just can't, because I know I'm going to eventually crash.
Yeah.
So I got it right there. That's a good recipe. Eat a lot of sugar when you're sick, and then it'll help you sleep in about 3 hours.
What makes
Knock you out.
But this time of year being sick, it does suck. But if you are in sports and your team happens to be in the National League Divisional Championships Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
Sure.
and you're sitting on the couch, it doesn't get any better than that.
No,
Especially with the outcome. And Saturday morning, I already went ahead and booked my flight to Houston
I knew
before Houston even got in.
Sure.
Wow.
But I felt confident enough with the Phillies up. They were already winning. They were winning when I booked it. Okay, and on Saturday.
Right.
So they didn't get that third win yet.
Not yet.
And then I figured if I get in early, get the Southwest Airlines. I got points.
Yeah.
Marriott points. They're not. People in Houston don't even know it's coming.
Right.
And I was looking at World Series tickets, and they showed the difference in prices in New York, Philadelphia, Houston, or San Diego. Houston was by far the cheapest by $500 a ticket.
Wow.
Because they're arguably right there, kind of a dynasty in the sense of they've been there for the last 6 years or whatever it is. So, people in Houston are like, whatever.
They're bored going to the World Series.
Yeah, they're here every other year.
Yeah.
They lost last year. They won a couple years before that. So I'm like, all right, let me see if these people in Houston. Sure enough, found a Marriott. I mean, dirt cheap, really nice, downtown.
Yeah.
Airfare was cheap. I mean, it probably went up on Sunday.
Sure. Well,
But, I'm all booked now. I just got to find tickets.
they're up 3-zip. You feel pretty good they can win it.
I wasn't 3-zip yet. It was actually.
I mean, Houston was up 3-zip, but you guys.
Yeah, I felt. I mean,
felt
Yankees are a mess.
Yeah, they are.
But we're going to really dive into that in segment 2. But let's get into what locally is making a lot of noise today.
Time for the top local and national stories of the hour. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona. Bet big on your favorite teams and players in an environment that's as exciting as the game you're watching. There's no better place in the Valley to get in on the action. The Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar. Now, guys, what's your top story this hour?
Well, typically we'd be talking about the Cardinals, but since they played on Thursday and we did that on Friday and we have all week to talk Minnesota, we're talking about this Phoenix Suns team that handed the Clippers their first loss of the season, 112-95. Devin Booker starting off the season in a real good way. Game high 35 points. They're now 2-1. Chris Paul posted 11 assists, and you're going to hear this in a moment, but he posted his 11,000th assist. Here he is. He joins John Stockton and Jason Kidd as the only players in the NBA to accomplish this feat.
It's either going to be one or two, okay? Either going to be one or two. I do want to point out his lob inside with DeAndre as he dangles on the rim.
That was it.
That was the 11,000.
Yeah.
Number 3 all
Sorry,
time.
pal. You didn't do a good job on that
No,
one.
they missed that
But
one.
that's what it was.
Hey, you know what's interesting is John Stockton's got 15,000 some assists.
It's amazing.
He's 4,000 assists behind.
I know.
Then John Stockton, who's number 2? Jason Kidd.
Yep.
I mean, he had to play another
12,000 something.
5 years, but I got to tell you what, CP3's averaging. He's got 32 assists in 3 games. Seems
Well,
like he's
he
been
can't
more.
shoot.
Well, that's it. Yeah,
They're not letting him shoot.
well,
I mean, you look at this team, and yesterday they had 7 guys, 8 guys, whatever, all scored over 7-something
yes,
points.
yes.
But, I mean, what happened to Chris Paul? He was always one of those guys that's putting up 18, 20 points. He's not scoring.
Well, he was.
He's looking to pass first.
Well, he shot. Well, he's 3 for 4 for 3-point land. He's focusing on the 3-point shot. Where's that little elbow jumper that he had? But maybe it's still there. Maybe his strategy is to get everybody involved more so, and maybe struggling a little bit. I don't know, but it seems as though he's focusing on all these guys, dishing it out to Cameron Johnson, Bridges, DA, and just scoring when he has to. But he's still getting the assist guy. I mean, averaging 10 per.
Yes.
He's getting a few rebounds. He's kind of the orchestrator more so, but I think his shooting will be just fine.
So the Suns got the Warriors tomorrow at home, so they are back 2-1 on the year.
That'll be fun.
Over the weekend, if you missed it, I didn't see this coming. I did not think ASU was going to follow Stanford. And they did. I did not see that. And now there's a controversy with quarterback, who should go, who should not go. And I think, all the love for Sean Iguanu, I think, has kind of gone away. I think that small
Sample size
of
coaching.
media
Yeah.
and people in his court losing to Stanford, the way that they lost to that game, and now they're 2-5. I just, man, you now go to Colorado, a 4:30 game on
But
Saturday.
they can win that game. That game's winnable.
Okay, but Stanford was winnable.
Yeah, it was.
It's the way they lost, I think, Rock, in the second
Yes.
half is what I think a lot of people are bemoaning the fact, because Emory Jones really struggled in the second half. He had the one nice touchdown pass, gorgeous touchdown pass. Then the last at the end of the game, I mean, that kid makes a hell of a catch, just had 1 foot out of bounds. But at that point, a lot of the questions were Emory Jones is struggling, and with Trenton Bourguet in the lineup, they seem to flow better. I might have made a move at halftime at the end of the third quarter, get some kind of flow, get some kind of continuity going, because it was like stuck in neutral. At that point, if I'm Sean Iguanu, and I know he'll look at the tape and the whole thing, I just said, look, this kid's just not getting it done. Nothing against him. But when Trent Bourguet's in the game, it just seems like he makes the read, he gets the ball out. It's the offense just seems to flow a little bit sooner. I might have made that change at halftime.
Let me ask you, with you coaching all these quarterbacks, and a lot of these young kids, I think personally, they're all so enabled, right? How much of it? I know he doesn't have a contract. Jones Emory has a contract with Arizona State.
Right.
He came here for a reason. That is to start.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, that's it.
He came here to play.
Yeah.
He gets
You're the
hurt,
guy.
and there are a lot of coaches out there. Their philosophies are, you don't bet your guy.
And he gets hurt.
He gets hurt.
And Sean feels that way.
But could there be an invisible contract on Jones that said he had to play and he had to go with him? I mean, why wouldn't you go with your best quarterback?
Because Iguanu came out after that injury, and we even played the clip on this show. And when we had him on, I specifically asked him that question. And he says, no, he's not going to lose his starting status due to the injury.
He didn't
I
hesitate.
don't do that. He did not hesitate at all.
But you can make a change, like you said,
Yes.
at halftime.
Yes,
Absolutely.
you can do that.
Absolutely. And that's what I thought. I understand that. I appreciate that. But I think that at some point in time, when your offense is stagnant against Stanford, of all people, and Badger, I think it had a hell of a game, but that catch at the end, phenomenal catch, foot was out of bounds. But I think now when you get to Colorado, I think Sean, look, he'd have to win out, I feel, at this point. I like Sean Iguanu. I'd love to see him stay. But he's got to beat Colorado, beat him convincingly. I would make the move to Trenton Bourget as your guy to start. I mean, at this point, hey, you want to win. It's always who gives you your best chance to win. So if he says that Emory Jones is our guy against Colorado, okay. But I would just say, look, if we see him struggle, then Trenton Bourget just to move the team. You can have an effective game, but if you're not scoring points, that's the whole thing. I mean, and then the defense missed several key tackles, several key plays. I mean, they had some big gash runs in the second half that really hurt the Sun Devils. But they got field goal after field goal after field goal. They got within range. They won with field goals. I mean, you're in range, get the points, and that's what they did.
Over the weekend, the Yotes lost again. It's a shocker.
2 minutes.
They're now 1-4. All 4 of their losses, their opponents have scored 6 goals.
Yes.
They'll go at it again tomorrow at 4, and then their home opener at Mullet Arena is Friday against Winnipeg. So we'll see what happens there. A little side note, Phil Kessel. I think a lot of us like Phil Kessel. He was a great guy to be here in Phoenix for the short time he was. Tonight, he has an opportunity to tie another former Coyote, and Keith Yandel, for a record 989 consecutive games played. That is absolutely incredible. You're right, Jimmy B. In hockey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Guys get hurt in hockey all the time.
The time.
It is
either a lower or an upper body.
Yeah.
Right?
Plus the puck coming at you at 110 miles an hour.
You got it. Exactly.
Hitting you in the shin guards or the upper pads.
Man.
Still leave a mark.
It's nuts. Hey, let's tell you what we got going on tonight. We got Bears and Pats here at Casino Arizona in the CAZ Sports Bar. This is our 22nd year hosting Monday Night Football. We've been doing it a long time. We call it the Monday Night Tailgate. We give away cash just for watching football. We do it with our kickoff jackpot, which is already close to $1,500. Tonight we're doing props, which are worth $25. Doesn't cost you anything. You just show up, you pull your name out, and you win that money. Same with squares. You get 2 sets of squares. They're worth $25. We do it all here, and you can win cash just for watching football. So we hope to see you here tonight for the Bears and the Pats. Doors open at 4 o'clock. Well, the World Series is set. I'm a little biased being a Philly fan. Phillies, Astros. But what's a better storyline for you baseball fans? Bryce Harper finally getting one. You know how Washington won one the year he leaves, right?
Yep.
They pay him all that money, but obviously he showed why they paid him all that money over the last few weeks. Or is it Dusty Baker finally getting a ring or possibly getting that ring because he does not have one in the 20-plus years he's been around?
Or is it Mattress Mac, if the Astros wins $75 million? Mattress Mac.
Man, I'm going to see.
Amazing.
I need tickets, so I'm going to reach out to Sean
Mattress Mac.
Salisbury because he's tight.
He is
and
tight.
see if I can get in the suite.
There you go.
Oh, that'd be nice.
And I would go to the game not wearing Philly attire if I got tickets.
I don't think they'd let you if you did.
Yeah.
If you did,
Not in the
that's sweet.
Not in a suite.
No, not in the suite.
So I'll never forget. I
You'd
took
have
my
to be a good
ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
She actually reached out to me after this Phillies.
Right.
She goes, remember when we went to the Phillies
Oh, man.
Yankees? So we were sitting in the Yankee section. I got the tickets from Jerry Harrison Jr.
Yep.
Okay.
Sitting in the Yankee section. And it was freezing, right? So we had, all kinds of layers of clothes. But she's a big Boston Red Sox fan. So she decides to wear all Boston Red Sox gear underneath her regular shirt, not a Philly shirt or a New York Yankee shirt, and sitting next to CeCe Sabathia's family.
Oh, man.
Showing off the freaking Red Sox. Well, I'm a Red Sox fan. Obviously, I don't date her anymore.
Obviously.
I
We'll talk
remember that,
about
Rock.
that next.
Yeah.
Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B from Casino Arizona.
Good old days.
91. Time to vent or praise your team from this weekend's games. React now with Roc and Manuch. Get on the phone now.
You don't think when Bryce Harper signed that mega deal to come here, he had visions of having a huge hit to send his team to the World Series? He's one win, and in this case, one swing perhaps, from the World Series. Harper gets one in the air.
You guys are hot 5 seconds.
Back it goes! Harper, the swing of his life!
How good is Bryce Harper?
He is good.
I mean, he's
Opposite
sick.
field thing.
He's got great power.
I mean, I'm like, damn. I mean, clear by 6-7 rows. I mean, he can talk about getting a guy who gets his money's worth on a swing.
The two guys that have great off-field power. One is Harper in the American League, Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah.
He can go the other way for a long ball without any issue, the same as Harper
He
does.
hits a 98.9 mile an hour slider.
I know.
Opposite field.
A slider
A
at
slider.
98 miles an hour. Did leave his bat? What was the velo?
And that's the first home run that Cesar allowed all year long
Yeah.
Well,
to a lefty.
he just goes to show what kind of a good hitter is. He recognized it's over the plate. He took it the other way, and it's interesting to see the different angles from the field level, from the dugout level, and then from all the levels. His swing is talk about acceleration through a swing. I mean, he just swings hard. It's fast. It's quick, but he's under control. He is having the playoffs of his life right now.
So you wonder when you look at this year and you look at these two matchups, you got a juggernaut in the Astros, right?
Yep.
I mean, they're
Yep.
favored, of course, and I think that they should win. Then you get the upstart Phillies, who fired their manager 51 games into the season,
They
right?
did. That's
How
correct.
crazy is that? You put Rob Thompson in, who takes over, who's never been a manager before. He was on Joe Girardi's bench the last World Series that Girardi was with the Yankees against the Phillies, ironically. And then you look at the other side, you look at Dusty. Will he finally get his ring? One of the best, skippers in all of baseball, but he's 0-2 in the World Series. He's hungry. You love to see him win. I mean, there's something there. But, man, going back to Bryce Harper, what a signature moment for him. What a way to kind of make him Philly. I mean, he is truly – I thought of Mike Schmidt. He's arguably the top player to ever play for Philly.
Yep.
And me as a Philly fan, you love the guy, but man, just you knew he was going to do something. You felt it, and I don't know about you. It's something about cities like Philadelphia and Boston when their baseball team wins. The entire family of everyone who lives in that. In that town or that city or anyone around us, it is like, I mean, it's the passion. There's nothing more. No one who lives here or has only lived here has no idea what that feeling is like. To be a Philly fan or a Boston Red Sox fan or maybe even the Cubs when they won theirs. But how big it is to win in a city like that is unbelievable. No, you could say New York and all that, but they do it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But when you don't do it that much, you do it every 10, 12 years, you get there and you have an opportunity. That's huge.
I've worked in all three of those cities that you mentioned. Chicago, when the Cubs were going to win the World Series, everybody didn't even work. Everybody was just dialed into that World Series against Cleveland. In Boston, the same way. Those fans are fanatical. And now in Philadelphia, it's a very similar situation. They are starving, absolutely starving for something like that to take place.
And you see these guys. I was watching it with a bunch of guys, and they're all New Yorkers, and they're like, man, I like these Phillies. Look at the players. They just seem like they are all into it. Bunch of misfits, right?
Yes,
that all
they
come
remind
together.
me of the Raiders.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say Raiders.
Yeah, because you just said they were misfits. The Raiders, when they were winning.
I think of the San Francisco Giants when they were bringing in all those guys and had success when they were going to the World Series.
Okay,
it's hard for me to go baseball to football,
or when the Red Sox were cowboy up, that theme all the way through.
Yes.
A shot of whiskey or whatever they're taking before the game. Just a bunch of dudes, Kevin Millar. And looking at that,
but that's kind of what these guys are. I mean, most of these guys and guys that have never been there, like Segura, who used to play for the Diamondbacks, and I don't know, man. It's just for a team that was under 500 in June, to turn that around and get in and get to a World Series. I mean, they struggled like crazy this year. You fire your manager.
Would you compare that, looking at another team that went all the way, like the St. Louis Blues? When they won the Stanley Cup a few years ago, they were totally misfits. They fired their manager.
Yes, I don't know hockey as well as you do now.
But I mean, no, right? I'm just. Yeah. I mean, they were
one player on that team.
Well, no, but
I can't use that analogy.
But they were last place. They went from the doghouse.
That I can see. I don't know if they were misfits though, because one thing that the St. Louis Blues, what I do know is most of the guys in that franchise came up through the system.
But I mean, I think the one thing I'm looking at is how far they came. I mean, you look at the Philadelphia Phillies, they were going nowhere fast. They fired their manager, and they have these guys. They rally. And the St. Louis Blues team they were last place. What was it? Early January. They win the Stanley Cup. Now, I don't know what they were misfits or not, but what a change a manager does.
There are
as far as
similar stories.
Similar stories. We look at the other guy, Schwarber. What's this? When you think back in his years of being on those World Series teams and setting the tone. He's kind of the common denominator, man.
Here's a great, and I know you probably haven't seen this, but there's a video of Schwarber at a club last night riding the mechanical bull.
I believe it.
And people just going crazy in the club.
Well, also, I mean, he was having all that success in the playoffs.
Right.
And, you hear me talk about Wawa, right?
Yeah.
People laugh about Wawa if you've never been to a Wawa. Wawa is just, it's
a Circle K.
No, it's a Circle K,
on
QT, 7-Eleven, wrapped.
Yeah.
Unless you've been there, everybody that's been there appreciates it for the most part, I think. Anyway, but they have this thing every summer called Hoagie Fest, where hoagies are $2.99, $3.99. Well, they did a Schwarber Fest after he started clubbing all these home runs and having success. Yeah. So I mean that took off, and then even Harper said something, and I think it was after Saturday's presser, he made a comment about, it's Schwarber Fest. I want to thank Wawa. Now they want to do something for Harper now because Harper,
sure.
And then they, and I love when cities take on these identities. Like what they did right away, Philadelphia did, is they called it Red October, which is brilliant.
Sure.
I mean, that's brilliant. And here they are. And how about this? Game 3, which is game 1 in Philadelphia, is on Halloween night.
It is.
How scary is that?
Yeah.
Pardon the pun. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, and, even yesterday, there was no fires. I have friends were calling, dude, they're going to burn down the city, and I,
2 minutes.
Politically, in that city, it's a freaking mess. But they were smart enough to get enough police out there, thank God.
They did.
But they were smart enough to grease the freaking poles, too.
I saw that.
So they knew on Broadway to just,
that's
Broad Street, and that was great. So, anyway, I'm pretty excited. Phillies are going to be there. I don't know if they're going to win. I mean, I bet them already.
Great story, though, Rock. A phenomenal story.
It's no secret that Dusty Baker, man, I mean, he's led 5 teams over 25 years. He's never won a World Series. I love Dusty Baker.
I do, too.
Somebody I've been fortunate enough to talk to, meet.
Yep.
And, and what's ironic, man, his contract is up after this season.
It is.
So there's no assurances about his future. So, he's got to win this. But then again, you look at Houston, and they're there almost every year now.
He was the reclamation project manager to bring that team after all the scandal, cheating. How many managers would have taken that thing over?
Yeah.
He goes, look, these kids are good ball players.
1 minute.
Should be in the hunt year in and year out. And he took that on. And for his calming presence and to acknowledge what was going on and go, okay, guys, we acknowledge it. We cheated. We got it. Let's move on. That's a kind of a experienced, mature manager that this team needed to get them back to where they are right now.
I don't know about back, man. They didn't miss a beat.
Well,
they lost their entire front office. If you look at their front office right now, most of them only been there for 2-3 years.
Sure.
And they have 4 AL pennants in the last 6 years.
Yeah.
They have not missed a beat with even all the cheating scandal, everything that's going on with that organization. They have done a tremendous job. They're 7-0 in the playoffs.
With him being the skipper, that's what I'm saying. Him to keep that.
Yeah, but it's the front office, too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's GMs and all that. So,
Everybody gets
this
fired.
weather's tremendous. Many of you getting sick because the weather's changing. I'm one of them. But it might be time to upgrade that backyard patio grill situation. And we have one right now that you can win. Text PEAKS to 55678. That's PEAKS to 55678. And you'll be entered to win a customized backyard grill patio set. And it is courtesy of Twin Peaks, Blue Moon, and Coors Light. You can enter each and every day. Standard message and data rates apply. So, former ASU and NFL quarterback, Rudy Carpenter, is going to join us next. Look back to last Thursday with the Cards and the Saints. Maybe get his thoughts on what's going on with Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. I got some Tom Brady stuff later. I can't wait.
Doesn't surprise me.
I mean, this is like this can't get any better for Tom Brady haters. The Tom Brady farewell tour. It's over. I mean, it's done.
So there we are.
It's done.
Right
I mean,
there.
he's held the 3 points.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, but he had a few drops, so they weren't all his fault. He had a couple of dingers dropped for touchdowns.
Dude, they started punt, halftime, punt, turnover, on downs, punt, field goal.
Did you see
that was their game.
Drop, Mike Evans drop, Godwin drop, tight end drop. They don't mention those drops that could have kept those drives sustaining.
Rudy Carpenter next. It's Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B.
Quarterback, who, by the way, went 3-1 against that team in Tucson.
Carpenter can go up with time, steps up, looks in zone, got a man, McGahey, touchdown! Rudy Carpenter threw that right into the teeth
into the strength of the Wildcat defense.
Rudy Carpenter, now on Roc and Manuch on Fox Sports 910 on FM 9.9 HD2.
That's right, Rudy Carpenter to it, just down the right Toyota guest line. How you making out today, Rudy?
No, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on.
We always love having you on. I want to start with the Sun Devils with you. I mean, they suffered a heartbreaking loss to Stanford, 15-14, and just your thoughts on you being a quarterback and a quarterback coach. What's your philosophy as a coach in regards to a player goes down, he's all right? Should a guy lose his job due to injury or not?
I mean, to me, it's a really tough question to answer. And I mean, I'm obviously someone who was in a situation very much so like that. I just think every situation is different. And I think the coaching staff has to understand what their dynamic of their team is, understand their locker room, understand the roster, understand the quarterback room, the kind of guys they have in that quarterback room, and then also understand what's best for the football team. And I ultimately think that none of those things should matter, whether a guy should lose his job to injury or whether a guy should be able to win a job because of injury. I think ultimately what needs to happen is the head coach needs to have control of the team, and the most important thing for everybody on the team is the team. And so to me, I just think the coach needs to play the best player that's going to give them a chance to win games.
And Rudy, I thought at least in the second half, they get goose eggs in the second half, but I thought that even with a phenomenal catch by Badger just out of bounds, I don't know, I just kind of felt that there was maybe a need in that second half, maybe midway, late third quarter, to get Trenton Bourguet back, or at least in the game, because I thought he flowed pretty well in his upset against Washington, just to change the pace, to get some life going.
Yeah, and I think that's the hard thing, because when you look at what he did against the University of Washington, you have to be impressed, and you have to wonder, if you're a fan, what Trenton would be like as the starter, especially with a few weeks of practice and maybe even more weeks of playing and getting used to game speed at that level, et cetera, right? But you also look at Emory Jones and you feel like, well, I mean, he didn't play terrible in the first half. I mean, there were some other things that went on, and it wasn't necessarily him. And so, like you said, Dan, I mean, as a former quarterback, you want to give him that leash and you want to give him that leeway to put a drive or two together. But again, I'm with you. I mean, sometimes it's not even about making a long-term decision. Sometimes it's just, hey, for this half, we need someone to come in here and give us a spark. And next week, we'll probably still go back to Emory, but we need a spark or something right now. And I think as a coach, you should be able to do that without igniting some huge controversy.
All right, then. So does Aguano then make it evident that, we're going to go with Emory Jones, but I'm not going to be opposed to going to the bullpen when we play against Colorado?
To me, we're asking way too many questions. I mean, does Sean Aguano want to be the head coach at Arizona State, or does he not want to be the head coach at Arizona State? If you're Sean Aguano, you want to be the head coach of Arizona State. There's a one way to be the head coach at Arizona State: to win games.
Yep.
So if I'm Sean Aguano, I don't care about anybody on this roster. My viewpoint is all of you guys were recruited by Herm Edwards and this other coaching staff. I love all you guys the same. I want to give all of you guys a great experience. But at the end of the day, this is Division I football. So I need to put the guys on the field who are going to give me, the team, and this university the best chance to win. And so to me, if I'm Sean Aguano, that's where my allegiances lie.
I also think that's one of those things that I'm like you, Rudy. I'm like, okay, the kid moved the team. Emory had a tough day, but it's all about the wins. Hey, let's move on to the Cardinals. Want to get your thoughts about how much D-Hop, watching DeAndre Hopkins in that game against the Saints, enhanced this Cardinals offense. And let me ask you this: is there always a caution to go to a guy like that too much? 14 targets, 10 catches, where you saw minimum catches spread out through, or does it make a difference?
Yeah, and I mean, it just goes to show you how stupid I am, right? Like, I come on this show every week, and I'm like, oh, man, the Arizona Cardinals talk about DeAndre Hopkins, and they act like he's going to be the savior. He's going to spin and change everything on this offense. And then, like, he come in and he does exactly that. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, like, I guess those guys know a little bit better because they're in practice and in the meeting rooms every week, right? So, look, there's no doubt that when you're the Arizona Cardinals and you're Kyler Murray and you're Cliff Kingsbury, of course you know that getting DeAndre Hopkins back is going to severely or significantly help your offense. I mean, look, I make fun of myself, but I've also said that too. I mean, you got to have dogs in the NFL, and if you don't have your best players playing, you don't have a chance to win. So, of course, DeAndre Hopkins coming back, I think, is going to make a big difference. 14 targets, that's a lot. But what it does opening up other guys on the field, what it does with the coverages and how other teams are going to play this football team, what it does to help Kyler essentially make the defense cover every single blade of grass, I think it does a lot for Kyler. Yes, DeAndre got a lot of targets, but Kyler spread the ball around other places too. I think the real question and maybe the real worry comes with, does Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray see the answer now as maybe we're a football team that needs to throw it 60 times a game? Is that how we're going to win? I mean, this was a great win for the Cardinals. There's no doubt. I can't hate. But the Saints, to me, are an average football team.
Yeah. And really, that leads me to my next question in reference to, once D-Hop and Robbie Anderson get up to speed and Rondale Moore in the fold and Dortch and also with Zach Ertz, your tight ends. Do you feel this could be a top 5 type offense if they get their act together, guys get on the same page with the talent to get on the field at the same time?
Well, yeah, and I think that's been the frustration with everybody, right, is they have that expectation. And I also think being fair from Kyler's standpoint and from Cliff's standpoint and Steve Keim and the organization, what they've been saying is probably the same thing. Like, man, we're happy to be where we're at right now. We have our best players suspended. We had a bunch of injuries. Why don't you people relax on the outside? We feel really good about this, especially when you look at maybe an injury to DK Metcalf in Seattle and how that affects them. You look at the loss that the Niners just had and, what kind of goes on there. This division's still open. In all actuality, the entire NFL, I mean, the Chiefs are playing great. Bills are playing pretty good, but a lot of people still have a chance. So the Cardinals probably feel like, hey, we're in a great spot. If we can get everybody healthy, if we can get Robbie Anderson up to speed and DeAndre Hopkins playing DeAndre Hopkins level football and some of these guys can come back from injuries, we're going to be in a really, really, really good spot. And that might be true. And so, we'll see. What it's going to come down to is execution, clock management, situational management. And that's something that's to be desired so far by this Arizona football team and this coaching staff, really since the entire time they've been here.
Rudy, I want to go to the little dust-up on the sidelines between quarterback and coach. I found it highly entertaining, and I'll just say that I couldn't believe the way some people reacted to it, like, what is going on? Why are they doing that? That stuff happens all the time in professional sports. Am I right with that?
Well, I think it's one of the funny things. I mean, like, especially for someone like me who was never scared to get in the mix of anything. Like, there are times now where, like, I'll talk to people on the phone and it gets confrontational. And my wife is like, "Oh my God!" She's like sitting in the corner, and I'm like, "This is like everyday normal stuff." Like, in a locker room, this stuff happens regularly. Like, me and this dude, our homies, like, we're fine after this, and she's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it." So, look, I think probably for, like, the real world and regular people, like, that type of interaction is rare and never happens. But in our world, it's emotional, it's intense, it's ego, there's so many things to it, and that stuff happens sometimes. And to me, it doesn't bother me. Sometimes that stuff needs to happen. It really strengthens relationships. Sometimes it's really just all about if guys can remain professional in that instance. A good example is the Carolina Panthers didn't think Robbie Anderson could remain professional in that instance, whereas in other situations with Cliff and Kyler, it's no big deal. Those things happen. Everybody moves on.
Tom Brady, he gonna be okay, or we gotta have some concern here with him struggling?
I don't know. I have to be totally honest with you. Like, to me, like, it's not that I think that Tom Brady, like, should not face criticism, because he obviously should, just like any other player. But, like, to me, like, I just would rather keep it about that. But the fact that people want to include his family life and his marriage and all this other stuff is so disrespectful and so weird to me. And I think just goes to show where we're at as a society. I mean, there's kids involved in this. This is real life people. Yep. It's just weird. I mean, of course, life bleeds over into work and he throws a tablet and freaks out on people. I mean, the dude's going through a $500 million divorce. It's just, I don't know. That's kind of weird to me. But from a playing standpoint, look, they're not playing good, and it's a real struggle for them right now.
Have a good week, Rudy. Thanks for the time as always.
All right, guys. Thank you.
That's Rudy Carpenter joining us here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Always enjoy him joining us. You can follow him on Twitter at RudyGCarp12, and he is brought to you by All City Towing, and they are hiring. They're growing, and they need you. Go to allcitytowing.com. Currently have immediate full-time positions and part-time available with incredible benefits, including a 401k program with a generous company match. And the fastest way to apply is online at allcitytowing.com. So check it out, allcitytowing.com. Just search careers. Coming up next, it's our 72 Sold on This Day report. It was a show where a detective brought Tootsie Pops to the limelight on prime time. Plus the call of the weekend that wasn't football. That's next. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B from the CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona.
Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B want to take you back.
If you travel to the past, that past becomes your future, and your former present becomes the past.
A quick reflection on some of the more memorable moments in sports and pop culture. Time for your 72 Sold on this.
You guys are hot.
At our price, a higher price at 72sold.com.
Well, that song you hear right now is the Kojak theme song, as it debuted on CBS in 1973.
Remember it well.
49 years ago. So this is going to be so stupid. Like, don't even say it, but I'm going to. When I've had this joke I'm 54. Probably 50 years.
Okay.
I've had this joke.
You were 4 years old.
Yes.
Yeah. Really?
This was a dad joke when I was 4.
Okay.
And it's one of the dumbest jokes of all time. But it's the only knock-knock joke I know. Because you know how people you can be, I don't know, wherever you're at. You can have a conversation, you can be like, you mean wherever.
Yeah.
Hey, you got knock-knock joke? Everybody's got one.
We all got one.
Everybody's got one, right? So this one was mine.
Okay.
And damn it. I don't believe I'm going
Do it,
there.
Rock.
Knock.
Jimmy and I do it every day. Who's there?
Who's there? Kojak.
Kojak who?
Kojak up my car. I got a flat. I did a Manuch there. I'm sorry, everybody. But that is the only knock-knock joke I've known forever.
Thank you for paying homage to me and Jimmy once in a while, Rock.
That is right up your alley. That's a dad joke.
Oh, it is.
But I forgot about that when I put this in the lineup, Kojak, and I just remembered, that's my knock-knock joke.
That was a Saturday night must watch. I remember his partner was Stavros. Remember Stavros? And he had he always had the Tootsie Pop in his mouth. When he was out there. As a matter of fact, he couldn't stand Tootsie Pops, but they said instead of cigarettes, because they wanted to change the corn cigarettes, they recommended he have a Tootsie Pop in his mouth versus cigarettes when they were filming. And lo and behold, he went, wow, he's always sucking on a Tootsie Pop, rocking here, walking there. Come to find out, he couldn't stand it. But for Hollywood, that was his prop of
got to do what you got to do.
Got to do what you got to do.
Really? 25 years ago, 1997, Marv Albert was spared a jail sentence after he apologized for biting his lover's back during relations.
Talk about taking a bite out of that relationship. That's just a whole nother realm right there. Sorry, Rock could not exist.
No, see, the only thing is Jimmy kind of laughed at it.
Yeah.
So, when I'm not here, you guys must have a ball.
Oh, we do.
Because I'm not going to laugh. Jack's not going to laugh. Well, Ben's not going to laugh. I mean, you got to be over 60 to understand some of that stuff.
Here's the deal about
And I just went there with the Kojak joke.
Yeah, I know, but it was...
You opened that Pandora's
box. You guys loved it.
Yeah,
I hang out with you guys Friday night?
Yes. Yeah. Okay, knock, knock. Knock, knock, Jimmy.
Who's there?
Joe.
Joe who?
Joe Mama. That's one of those,
No, that's not. That's not even. Mine was at least
Joe
better
Mama.
than that.
Yeah.
Mine was better.
Joe Mama was
Joe Mama
anymore. Was a term back in the day where you
but we're not in back in the day.
Your mom.
Remember your mom wears cowboy boots. Remember that? I remember that all the mom jokes. I mean, I never understood that. Hey, 2021.
Yeah.
Bucks quarterback Tom Brady became the first quarterback in NFL history to reach 600 TDs. I remember like it was yesterday, as he has a 9-yard TD pass to Mike Evans. He did that against the Bears. Speaking of Bears and Pats tonight, here's our call of the weekend that's not football.
You don't think when Bryce Harper signed that mega deal to come here, he had visions of having a huge hit to send his team to the World Series?
He's one win, but in this case, one swing perhaps from the World Series.
It's in the air, left center field, back it goes. The swing of his life.
So awesome.
I know you're loving it.
It just did it. It just when you're born and raised somewhere, it's like I want to have that feeling here in Phoenix. I've been here 31 years.
Right.
I didn't have it as much in 2001. It was fun, but it wasn't like this because you didn't grow up.
Sure.
You didn't grow up rooting for the Diamondbacks because they weren't around.
Well, you had legacy there in Philadelphia and Boston, New York. You got since with the 1910s or when these teams were around. In Philadelphia, the ups, the downs, 1980 when Tug McGraw gets the game-winning out against the Kansas City Royals. They won that championship. And you look at the Eagles winning. I mean, it's the city of brotherly love, right?
Yeah, it's pretty hot in that city right now. the thing is of course, I have a lot of friends that hate Philly, and that's fine.
yeah.
I hate the fans. Okay. So yesterday, this is probably 10 minutes after, I'm still having fun with it.
Sure.
Oh, my buddies are sending me
Can you
over
read
the
them off the air?
over the past 100 years,
Uh-huh.
the surest sign of an oncoming financial crisis has been a Philadelphia-based baseball team winning the World Series. 1929, the Philadelphia Athletics, they won the World Series.
Yeah,
what happened there?
Yes.
1980, the Phillies win the World Series. What happened over there?
Crash.
2008, the Phillies win the World Series, and it happens. And then now, 2022, we know where this administration is freaking putting us in now. It may happen again. And a guy comes up to me today, and he's like, "All right, Rock, would you be a fan of the Phillies winning again,
Right.
and we go into a recession,
Right.
or would you say Phillies lose and you don't go into a recession?" I said, "Damn right, Phillies already won a few. I don't want to go into a recession. I want everybody to vote the right way. I want everybody to just vote in November. I don't care who you vote for, but vote."
Well, now you're actually You're actually talking through your head, not your heart, Rock. You're sitting there going,
Well, I'm not stupid. I know. I want to be on the radio and
I agree. Most assuredly, but
where I missed out. So about a month ago, I mentioned to you guys that McDonald's was coming out with these adult Happy Meal toys.
Yes, right. Yeah.
They were this cactus plant flea market box, right? And it had these stupid toys.
Yes.
Well, they sold out right after they launched. Now toys are on eBay for $300,000.
No,
people are
$300,000.
Is this like Beanie Babies?
Yes,
all over
exactly.
again?
Cabbage Patch.
Now they're coming out with it. Now I guess McDonald's has the Halloween buckets. They brought that back.
Okay.
But Jack o' lantern and all that stuff.
Mickey D's going back to the well, so to speak, if you will, with the bucket and all the other stuff.
What works?
But think about it. Those Happy Meals for adults, we're going for like $12, $13.
Yes.
Now the toys inside, $300,000.
You're going to recoup their.
Where the hell was I?
Yeah, really.
I mean, I got it. Hey,
you're the marketing guy.
I got it on my app. I got the app. I didn't know that I could
You
never.
got an app from McDonald's?
Oh my God! I get the reward points. I never eat. I eat
Oh
for free.
man!
That's great.
Rock,
Do you have an app for food, Jack?
Not Mickey D's.
See, Jimmy, you got to come down to the younger guys. This is the in thing.
I know I have the app in the box and get the super big taco. That's all I do.
Super tacos are back.
The thing about the app, you don't have to wait. You order it.
Yeah.
You get points for ordering it, so you get free stuff, and then you just pull up and they say, "What would you like to have?" And I'm like, "I got a mobile order, M30." You go, all right, Mr. Morocco, come on in. No money, it's all paid for, and you're out the door.
I'm helping
the speed.
That's
I'm helping
boring.
the line. Why, you want to wait in line longer?
Yeah.
I'm trying to help these people out, you old people that are saying,
no.
Can I get a cup of coffee, 2 sugars, and you wait in line forever? I'm ready. I'm in and out.
Because after I put my order in, then I can listen to the radio and either listen to music.
You can listen to radio.
Sports talk. I don't want to deal with that. Gosh. I'm upset that I have to go finally get an updated phone. I'm going to miss my phone.
Oh my God! Thank God he's being forced to get on your phone.
Got a quick update on Week 7 in the National Football League. Craig Philly from ABC 15. It's all coming up in hour number 2 from Casino, Arizona.
Sports with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Proudly sponsored by On Air Sports Marketing and is powered by the injury attorneys Lerner and Rowe. In a wreck and need a check? Make one call. That's all. 602-977-1900 and always online at lernerandrowe.com. Now time for Calling All Sports with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. On Sports 910.
Hope you're having a good Monday. Roc and Manuch and Jimmy B out here at Casino, Arizona. We're in the new CAZ Sports Book, which is in the CAZ Sports Bar. And we are getting ready for our Monday night tailgate event. It's our 22nd year hosting Monday Night Football. And we do it right. We give away cash just for watching football. Many of you that do come down, we appreciate you coming down each and every week. We have a lot of regulars. Some of them get a little carried away at times. Got to put them in line. They act like they own the place. It's like, it's like that brother who comes over and he's laying on the couch, not sitting. like they own the place. It's like, come on, dude. No, this is our house. You're here. You're our guest.
Yes.
We're here to give you money by just sitting there and enjoying yourself. So we do in many ways. We do squares. We do props. But I would say the best promotion we do within the big promotion is our jackpot kickoff. And the way that works is after every kickoff, we pull a name and we give you $1 a yard. So if they run it back for a touchdown and the conversion's good, either it's a 2-pointer or it's a kick, we give you this progressive jackpot. And today it's going to start at $1,475.
Wow.
Yeah, we're almost at $1,500. That's pretty big, but we'll hit it. And hopefully tonight, somebody from the Bears and the Patriots we'll run one back, and if they do, someone's going to walk home with a lot of money. So, and then we'll start all over from $100 and start from scratch. So, doors open at 4. It's our Monday night tailgate here at Casino, Arizona. So the World Series is set. Phillies, Astros. Pretty excited about that. We'll get into that a little bit later. But I do want to get into Week 7 of the National Football League because I think for us, or at least for me, a degenerate gambler right now, 40 bets a week on an average.
Yeah.
Granted, I'm not putting big money. I'm that little guy. The
no,
$2,
but you're
$5.
active. You're active.
Yeah, but I'm chasing stuff too, and I'm like last night I was bored, and I'm like, I about 6:45, I jumped on like 5 bets with the Suns, and I lost them all. So didn't lose a lot of money, but I lost the bets.
Keeps you humble, doesn't it, Rock? I mean, you
not really. If I was losing like $50, $100 each bet, that'd be different. But we're doing $5 bets, $3 bets. It's just stuff like that. Because I'm doing like so and so will score so many points or over unders, things like that. But when you look at the preseason in the NFL, and we were sitting down here and we're saying, all right, so-and-so's going to win the AFC, East and this and West, whatever. I think most of us had Tampa Bay.
Yes.
Green Bay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Teams we did not have, Jets, Giants, Seahawks.
Yep.
I mean, what the hell's going on? I mean, you got Geno Smith.
Yes.
Who, I mean, I didn't see that coming against the Chargers last night.
No.
They are a certified playoff contender now. They lead the NFC West. None of us would have predicted that.
If you would have said that before the season began, we just would have laughed at you.
Exactly.
Totally laughed at everybody.
You got a radio show, Rock?
Yeah.
You're taking the Seahawks?
Come on.
They're 4-3, leading the division after 7 games.
Yes.
Yeah, we'd have never saw that. That prognostication would have been way left. And they're doing without Russell Wilson. Who's cooking? Geno? Yeah, right. Whatever. Geno Thomas? Nah.
And the New York freaking Giants, 6-1.
Yep.
Now, I will say this. The Giants are the Cardinals of 2021. They're coming out of the gate quick.
Yeah, that's true.
And then they're going to get beat towards the
You
end.
think they're going to fade then?
I'm hoping. So I'm just hoping.
Well, Philly's undefeated still too, Rock. So they're right there.
I'm not saying anything about Philly.
Okay, I'm just saying he's.
I think Philly. I mean, I think the 6 wins. I think 2 are over teams with winning records. So it's not like they're killing people. So this week we're going to play Pittsburgh. We'll see what happens.
Right.
And then Aaron Rodgers and the disaster that's going on with them. It's like, I just don't get it. They're 3-4, and they got Buffalo next.
This is the first time in Aaron Rodgers' career as a quarterback, as a starting quarterback in Green Bay, that with him on the team, they are a double-digit underdog.
Well, here's the other thing, too, guys.
Double digit.
A lot of things happen.
It is Buffalo, though.
Here's the thing. You lose players, you lose free agents, you lose a Devontae Adams. All of a sudden, you've got these rookies. A couple linemen go down. Guys, in the National Football League, if you don't have a really good group of plug and play, things start to even out. That's where that parity comes to life. And with the New York Giants, Coach Daboll, look what he did when he was in Buffalo.
Right.
He's got Daniel Jones under control. They're not winning with smoke and mirrors.
Well, they're winning with Barkley.
Saquon Barkley.
Saquon is either him or Geno Smith is your comeback player.
Sure. Yeah, but Saquon Barkley is Penn State. Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, exactly.
But guys, that's my point. With healthy players, with you got players that are there, that are your high price guys, or if you don't have them, or they get traded, or they go somewhere else, it's just so hard to have an accumulation of the same core of athletes year in and year out. And then on top of that is to make sure that they're healthy so they can be that way. Now, I think to your point, Rock, let's see what happens the last 7 games a year when guys start getting dinged and nicked and guys aren't healthy.
The reality is, I hate to say this. The New York teams, they're combined 11-3.
Yes, right.
Yep. Really? The Jets tied for the second best record in the AFC?
Yes, that's correct.
And fourth win?
Yeah. And fourth
straight?
Yeah, and they're 4-0 away too. Remember, on the road, they're winning on the road, which is huge when you stop and think about it, especially in Lambeau.
Yeah.
So it's interesting though. You look at this season entering this past week, and I need to update my numbers, but the NFL average margin of victory was just 8.9 points. That's the lowest in NFL history.
Yes. Yeah.
We talk, all three of us, 4 of us, 5 of us, talk about parity all the time.
That's sure.
That's what it is.
But you go into the season thinking, okay, it's going to be the Bucs and the Packers. They're going to be the contenders, and their offenses are horrible, and the NFC East is going to be the worst division. The reality is it's the South in the NFC East.
Yep.
The New York teams and Geno Smith and NFC West leading Seahawks. Who would have thunk it?
And who would have thought this? That when the Indianapolis Colts acquired Matt Ryan and thinking, they're going to be in the mix right now as a playoff team, and now they're nowhere to be found, Matt Ryan gets benched for former Texas quarterback Sam Ehlinger.
Well, he got hurt. He was kind of forced to get benched, if you will. He got hurt, and Ehlinger's going to start this weekend. But again, if you don't have all hands on deck every week and you play other teams that have got dudes, you're going to have a hell of a game. It's going to be tough for you to sustain that kind of a format week in and week out if you don't have the depth. A lot of that depth has gone on to go start for other teams.
Well, I can tell you this. Frank Reich, who's the head coach of the Colts, came out today and said Ehlinger is their starting quarterback for the remainder of the season. Remainder of the season.
Yeah.
So that's the key right there.
I will say this. If once Ryan is healthy again, and Ehlinger starts to struggle, I don't think he'd hesitate to put Matt Ryan in.
Wins and losses.
Yeah, exactly right. And that's where
it's a little bit different than college.
But the Chargers here, we talked about the AFC West, and really right now, aside from the Chiefs, we thought it'd be a dogfight going back and forth, back and forth.
Did.
The Chargers losing yesterday to Seattle and losing big. Chiefs are just hitting on all cylinders, except for even during the Buffalo game, and the Bills won that. So it's pretty much. We thought, the Raiders, they got Devontae, they got Chandler Jones. They're going to really be – they won yesterday, but it's ugly the way they win. At least they're winning, and you're going to see a lot of ugly wins, guys, coming down the wire to see who makes the playoffs and who doesn't make the playoffs.
That's a great point because I think a lot of fans are used to seeing, we're going to blow this team out, and they're looking at a 38-10 win. That's not happening.
No.
Now, it happened yesterday because of what Manuch just talked about with the Chiefs hitting on all cylinders, and they put up over 40 on the 49ers and on that 49er defense. But, Rock, you alluded to the fact that right now the average margin of victory is only 8 points. That's it in the NFL.
I think defense, you think of Kenny Pickett throwing 3 picks yesterday against Tampa.
That's 7 on the year.
And they only beat him 16-10. So you go, okay, so defenses, at least right now, I think defenses, unless you're playing the Chiefs, are somewhat like the Cardinals. Their defense is way ahead of their offense right now. Right now.
I couldn't believe yesterday, just watching Scott Van Pelt and the highlights, and some of even on the NFL Network, how many drop
Too much.
passes
Oh,
we saw yesterday.
That's problematic.
And it wasn't weather.
No.
I mean, it was just some, even on the defensive side, missed interceptions. They're right there, and the guys are missing.
Well, that's my favorite line on that is, well, that's why he's a defensive back and not a wide receiver.
Well, Evans drops a for sure touchdown.
He did.
I mean, he never drops those kind of passes.
And the GOAT, I mean, he's held to 3 points.
Yeah.
I mean, that hasn't happened. It's only happened 5 times in his career.
Right.
And that's just amazing if you think about that. He now has 3 such games in 3 seasons with the Bucs, though. So the farewell tour has started for Brady. under 500 through 7 games for the first time since 2002.
Think about that. How amazing, though, that is.
Well, I mean, especially with him, and I guess, we had Rudy Carpenter on the program there early in the first hour. Probably a good point. Hell with what's going on the sidelines with him, even though Giselle just hired Tiger Woods' divorce attorney.
Yeah.
But
no, Elaine's divorce attorney. The one
Giselle.
She hired Tiger's ex-wife's attorney.
Same thing. But consider this: the first 9 Tampa Bay drives yesterday. Punt.
Yeah.
Punt. Oh, halftime. All right, let's start. We regroup. All right, let's start off. All right, punt. Turnover on downs. Punt. Then they finally got their 3.
Yeah, and then the passes he did complete.
He threw 49 times.
Yeah, and he had a lot of dink and dunk, and then they shut down that big Carolina. Shut down their offense. Shut down Fournette.
They did.
How great was that for Carolina to win that game, though?
That's huge.
You lose your not top receiver, but one of your receivers.
Yeah, Anderson,
you lose McCaffrey, which is
the face
unbelievable.
of your team.
I mean, and then that was great.
And PJ was the Walker kid, the quarterback that came in.
PJ Walker.
I think he always plays well. Hey, you know what? Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, let the kid just manage the game.
That's what they're going to do.
He had 2 touchdown passes?
Yes.
He's always played well in Carolina.
Wilkes has already come out and said Walker is the starter.
As he should.
And he was emotional. He got the game ball, coach, and I think we all liked him when he was here.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Hey, by the way, our State 48 Roofing It's Your Call question today, which you can vote right now on our Twitter page at Roc and Manuch. With DeAndre Hopkins back in the mix and a revamped defense, what do you feel the chances are percentage-wise they can make the playoffs? Is it 100, 75, 50, or 25? 100, 75, 50, or 25? Head to our page on our Twitter page, I should say, or It's Your Call question, which can be found at Roc and Manuch. And as always, thanks to State 48 Roofing for sponsoring it. For a free quote, repair, head to state48roofing.com. You can always follow them online at #SexyRoofStatus. Coming up, we want to continue talking some college football. Recap Week 8 in college football, headlined by Clemson's comeback against Syracuse.
Wow.
Oregon's win over UCLA. The Big 12 got a couple big wins with Oklahoma State and TCU.
Ouch.
To React Monday, we're talking college football next. Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B, Fox Sports 9.
This is three-man rush all day for Young is directing traffic, extending, looking, pointing deep, and delivers a shot to the end zone. Touchdown, Joe Earl. And the magic of Bryce Young to wait for someone to get open and then throw it.
It was hot.
Alabama highlight? Why not?
Whose idea was that?
Why not? They're not even in my story here at all.
That was our good buddy. Benjamin.
I mean, they're not even in my little. Oh, what do I have here? I got nothing on that.
Well, Ben thought I'd just throw you off. A little Bama. After recovering.
I tease Clemson, Oregon, LSU, and I get Alabama.
I'd have preferred a TCU highlight over my Cats, unfortunately.
Let's start the Pac-12 because I think Oregon took control.
Oh, my goodness.
They showed a strong performance over UCLA.
They did.
How about that? And hats off to former Auburn quarterback Bo Nix. He's really continued his resurgence. He was 22 of 28, 283 yards, 5 touchdowns. And how about that Ducks ground game? They pounded the Bruins, 262 yards in the score. They only punted once. Once. And I thought that was going to be a very high-scoring game, really high-scoring game. And that wasn't the case. And, ESPN, Game Day was there. And so now you have 4 teams. Utah, UCLA, and Oregon and USC are now they're the main contenders to win the Pac-12 heading into next week. But it really looks like that Oregon's win over UCLA, and then they got Utah at home. That's late November on the 19th. Then I think they have the inside track at the title game. It might just come down to the winner of the USC UCLA game, which is on that same day, November 19th.
It'll be interesting. How about this? A change of venue for Bo Nix, where he pretty much got run out of Auburn with everything that went on there with the coach and the fan base, everything else. He shows up at Oregon. They get blasted by Georgia in that first game, and then they start on this winning trend, and his confidence level, you can see it week after week after week.
He didn't get he didn't get run out of Auburn.
Oh, they did. They ran him
His
out.
defensive coordinator was going to be the head coach.
Yeah.
His offensive coordinator was going to be the offensive coordinator.
They took him.
Yeah, they took him. He goes, you know what? He basically left Auburn, so this going nowhere fast.
And Brian Harsin didn't recruit him.
Exactly right. So they didn't run him out.
Yeah.
Jimmy.
The fans.
But you can make to Jimmy's point. You can make a case about 20 quarterbacks that transferred this past year.
But I want to say they didn't have any issues with Bo Nix. He just felt he had a better way of winning it all by going to Oregon because that system fit him.
Yes, it
did. And then the offensive coordinator was coming in was a mess, and the whole thing was a mess. And he just said, you know what? I'm going to go in the portal. I would really like to go to Oregon, and he has. He's never been a bad quarterback. Now he's just got a group of guys around him that enhance his skill sets from running and throwing the ball.
All right, quarterback boy. We always refer to you when I have a quarterback question because you played that position. I want to know then, what have you seen for Bo Nix? Is it scheme that has made him this much better of a quarterback, or is it the uniforms? Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah, or the work ethic that he has put in? Why all of a sudden has it clicked?
He's got dudes around him all over the place. He's got a phenomenal.
Wait, time out, dude. He had dudes at Auburn.
He did not have
SEC. Yes, he did. No,
right.
I'm disagreeing.
He did not have the dudes at Auburn. It's
the system. Come on, I can answer that.
Let me tell you what.
You even said it's a system.
A lot of it, but he's got players. He's got running backs. He
had all that at Auburn.
He did not at Auburn.
Yes, he did.
He had.
I so disagree with you.
He had decent players.
SEC at Auburn
doesn't mean that Auburn's been slacking as far as their recruiting is concerned. Let me say, so it's a couple things. So let me finish the question here.
Okay.
It's his talent, his skill set. He's a dual threat quarterback. Yeah. He's got a phenomenal offensive line. He's got phenomenal people around him. He's able to show his talents of how good he is by getting protection, throwing the ball down the field. And he knows this system as well. Very familiar system. He hasn't learned the whole system.
That's fair.
So it's a combination of all the above. He just didn't have that kind of juice surrounding him at Auburn. Matter of fact, there was games he won on his own in Auburn when he had a depleted team on the offensive side.
All right, I want to get to all the conferences, at least most of the big ones. Big 12, TCU, Oklahoma State, they scored some key big wins. How about the Big 12? Arguably, they're probably, in my humble opinion, I'm not a Big 12 fan, one of the most entertaining conferences in football right now.
No question.
No kidding.
I mean, you got TCU They used a second half comeback, to beat your alma mater, 38-28, and that's Kansas State. And then in Stillwater, Oklahoma State, they were down 14 points in the fourth quarter, and they edged Texas. That was a great game to watch.
It was.
I mean, you got Texas, Baylor, Kansas State. They're all in the mix. TCU, Oklahoma State, they got the edge right now at the title. I mean, Big 12 is making a little noise right now.
Yeah, and you, every once in a while, they make a little bit of defense just to shut the team when they have to. I mean, the K-State game, we're up 28-10 at half. Like, I felt pretty damn good. Well, all of a sudden, this guy named Sonny Dykes, the head coach for TCU.
Hell of a coach.
He's phenomenal.
Everybody goes.
Would anybody please stop the running back? And could you mix in a coverage once in a while? Lo and behold, they come back and win that game by 10.
Yeah.
So you look at they get 28 unanswered points to beat the Cats.
So in the ACC, Clemson once again survives Syracuse, that upset bid. They got a hell of a running back, Will Shipley. We'll see him on Sundays. He ran for 293 yards.
Yep.
Clemson even had 4 turnovers on offense, and they won that.
And they brought
They're favored to win the CFP.
And they brought the freshman quarterback in to finish the game and win that game going away.
Ungale had issues in that game.
Took him out.
And so they took him out and made that change.
Big deal. Big Ten, Ohio State, Michigan, they're the real deal in that conference.
They
no
are.
question. The stage is set for this week. Happy Valley, Ohio State, Penn State. That's going to be a hell of a game as Ohio State just destroyed Iowa. Penn State took care of Minnesota. Michigan was on a bye week. SEC, it's good to see LSU is back.
Yes.
A lot of pundits were saying they were done with first-year head coach Brian Kelly. Why did he leave Notre Dame? Why is he at LSU? Well, they're on the rise right now. They started off slow. They had a big win over Ole Miss. They fell behind in that one early, 17-3, and they came back. So it's interesting. The SEC announced yesterday that they're going to punish LSU because they stormed the field, and that they got fined, I think, $250,000 in that one. It's their third offense.
And J.D. Daniels, former Asian quarterback, running that LSU offense.
Coming up in about a half hour, it's going to be classic Mike Leach. Epic press conference after their loss to Alabama. We're going to have all that for you. It's a long presser. We cut it up in 3. I hope, Ben, you cut it up in 3. And we're going to play some of it for you. He talks about dinosaurs.
Yep.
He talks about his players not having actual hands. I mean, it's classic. Real quick, couple things real quick. How about Miami losing to Duke? Oh, my God. The Beavers 6-2.
Yep.
Dirk Cutter at Boise State now taking over the offense. They struggled early. Now they're on fire. I mean, the guy's doing a great job there. They've won 3 in a row quietly.
Yep.
And, under the radar, you got Texas Tech of their win over West Virginia. And how about Jimmy's University of Texas San Antonio? Only team in the Conference USA without a loss in league play.
UTSA, baby.
And my Liberty, they won over BYU 41-14.
Buried them.
And the Mighty Mac, I saved the best for last.
Yes.
5 of the Mac's 6 games in Week 8 were decided by 7 points or less. How about those Ohio University
How about
Bobcats?
BYU at 4-4 now? They start off so strong. They are fading like tissue paper in a rainstorm, Jimmy.
By the way, College Game Day will be in Jackson, Mississippi.
Hello,
for Jackson
Deion Sanders.
State. Yeah, you knew that was coming. It's just a matter of time. Hey, we're out here at Casino Arizona for Monday Night Tailgate. Hopefully you can come back and join us at some point, either this week, next week, any week. We'd love to see you as we give away cash just for watching football. Well, Cardinals did it with offense last Thursday. Suns are hitting on all cylinders early. We're going to catch up with ABC 15's Craig Fouey next for Fact or Fouey right here on Fox Sports 910.
This is what's trending.
All right, guys, I'm back. Good stuff.
910 Phoenix. weekend. And as a reminder, Josh writes the questions. Now here's ABC 15's Craig Fouey.
That's right. Join us on the Right Coded guest line as we're live out here in Casino, Arizona, just down the street from ABC 15, and he joins us now. How we doing, Fouey? What's up, Coach?
Are you kidding me? I'm doing great, you guys. What's going on? Look at all these. The Suns beat the Clippers. The Cardinals beat the Saints. The Phillies are in the World Series.
Yeah, why do you lead with that? You should have led with the Phillies. Come on,
Let me turn over. Hey, are you kidding, guys? I'm excited. The Phillies are in the World Series. The Cardinals beat the Saints. And the
See, true pro. You can do it. Take two, right, Coach?
Yep.
Take two. Here we go.
Scrap that person. Scrap the first one. Let's go to the second one.
Good. We'll get to that because that did make our question here. So, let's get to our first one. We do it every week. It's called Factor Fouey. ABC 15's Craig Fouey. All right, the Cards defense will continue to be the catalyst in moving forward to beating their opponents. Fact or Fouey?
Fouey on that. Listen, they gave up 495 yards to the Saints and Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton should have been player of the game for the Cardinals, but he just threw 4 touchdown passes. 4 touchdown passes and 2 touchdown passes to the Cardinals. So 6 total for Andy Dalton. But you can't give up 494 yards of offense and say the defense is the catalyst for anything. Without those 2 pick sixes, and I know they happened, take those away and the Cardinals lose the game. So I'm not all hyped on the defense now that we saw what they did against a banged up Saints team against Andy Dalton.
All right, Coach. The Cardinals offense will become one of the top 5 in the league once DeAndre Hopkins and Robbie Anderson are up to speed. Fact or Fouey?
Fouey on that. I'm going to say when Hollywood Brown gets back. DeAndre's back. He makes a huge difference. We saw that Thursday night, right? Just his presence on the field. He ended up with 10 catches for 103 yards, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And so that DeAndre Hopkins alone makes a difference in the offense. You get Hollywood Brown. I'm not sure about Robbie Anderson. And certainly not AJ Green because he didn't even play. So you're looking at, let's wait till Hollywood Brown gets back. Then we'll see a difference in the offense.
Coach, what was the actual verdict or word on AJ Green? Did you guys find out one way or the other? We heard absolutely crickets on that whole situation.
No, it was the same reason Billy Price went at center. It's just the better player played. And Cliff reiterated, I was just over at the Cardinals here, an hour ago, and Cliff said the same thing. He goes, we're going to put the best group out there that we think gives us the best chance to win the game and move the football. So he said nobody is golden in that group. Nobody is, obviously DeAndre Hopkins is, but, he's like, we're going to put the best group out, no matter who it is.
And what is it with second-round picks in this team? Rondale Moore, Isabella's gone. Will they eventually use him besides a guy scrambling and hit him on a 34-yard pass down? Is that going to be a piece of this offense eventually with him?
Well, he tried the fade route to a 5'7" Rondale
Moore. Hey, don't be knocking 5'7".
Coach, I'm like,
first time in NFL history.
I mean,
the next gen set.
You know what I mean, though, Coach? I mean, 4.2, 4.3. I get the speed, but I mean, when are they going to unleash the speed of these slot receivers they drafted over the last 5 years?
There's a problem. There's a problem with GMs and coaches, and you always think this guy's going to be the next to that guy, right?
Yeah,
You're hoping Rondale Moore becomes the next Danny Amendola. You hope Andy Isabella becomes the next Danny Amendola. I mean, there's always these guys that play, and you think, oh, this guy has great speed. He's not very tall, but he's got great speed. Mm-hmm. Maybe he can be that next. And that happens a lot in sports, right? You start looking at guys and comparing them to other guys that played well before them, and you think this guy could be that guy. But listen, Rondale Moore has some speed. He's got some ability. We just got to get that offense moving, and having DeAndre back gives us that option now to look at other guys.
All right, so the bickering Cardinals, the coach and the quarterback, that was pretty entertaining, actually, to be honest with you. I loved it. Now, is their relationship going to be better moving forward, like nothing to see here? Fact or Fouey?
Well, fact. Listen, everybody's been blowing that up. We got in an argument Saturday night on our show with Mark May and Colin and I just talking about that. Cliff said last year they're both Leos, right? And Cliff brought up the astrological sign. They're both Leos, so they both love the prime time. They love the spotlight. They don't mind arguing and being aggressive. Here's the thing. My wife texted me during the show. She goes, hey, listen, Cliff's known Kyler since he was like 13 years old. So it's like family, right? And then DeAndre Hopkins said it the other night. He goes, I'm not married, but I understand that's what a marriage is like. So, right? We can ask Rock that. Rock, you know what this is like.
Oh, big time. I'm a pro.
Yep.
Yeah, you're getting fights with females, right? I mean, this doesn't happen. So I don't think it's a big deal. I've been in coaches' meeting rooms where the offensive staff is getting after the defensive staff, and guys are crawling across the table to punch somebody. And then you open the door and you walk out and you're all on the same team, all recruiting for the same group, right? So I've seen it in spring football. I've seen it on the football field. We saw fights at the Cardinals training camp this year, right? I mean, this is what happens when type A personalities, a lot of testosterone, type A guys, a lot of guys that are playing at a peak level, and you're emotional. That's what happens.
ABC 15's Craig Philly joining us here. Roc, Manuch, and Jimmy B. All right, number 4, the Suns' dominance over the Clips last night showed they are a major threat to contend for the Western Conference title. Fact or Philly? Major threat.
They were on it last night, Coach.
3 games in the
That
season.
is 1 game out of 82. But yes, that dominance over a struggling Clippers team is fantastic. I think that makes them the front runner.
Dang, Skippy. Dang.
That is awesome. That is awesome. I love that. I love the way these things go, because here you are 3 games in. The Suns are in 4th place in the West at 2-1. They lost to Portland on Friday night in overtime. And now we're front runner for the Let's not jump on that bet. Now, I will say this. Another milestone for Chris Paul. Devin Booker, he scored 96 points or something the first 3 games. It's most ever by a Suns player in the first 3 games. He's averaging way beyond what he's ever averaged. A year ago, he was driving the lane nine times a game. This year, 3 games, he's driving the lane 17 times a game. I mean, listen, Book is on a mission. It was great to see them get a win over there, because I wasn't sure they could. But then you watch the Clippers and you go, they're not so good right now. I think they're off for a good start. 2-1 will take it.
All right, Coach. This next question, I want you to really think hard now. It's a very difficult one for you. Just really dial in here. Now that the Phillies are going to the World Series to face the Astros, Phillies fan and our radio co-host, one Mike Morocco, a.k.a. Rock, will force himself to go on assignment until mid-November to cover the team and give us daily updates. Is that a fact or is that a phooey? Rock going on assignment.
Here you go. Now let me just clarify before I jump on this bandwagon, because yes, there's a fact that Rock will be gone, but he'll only be gone through November 5th, because the World Series goes October 28th and November 5th. So after a couple of days of celebrating, he'll be back by the second. So it won't be mid-November. It'll be like November 8th, 7th, 8th, 9th, somewhere in there.
Now we're talking about Rock. So mid-November was the way the coach
Game three. Game 3 is Halloween. First game in Philly.
I know. You got to be at that one, right?
I'm actually going to game 2 in Houston.
Are you really?
So I mean,
we'll jump on the team plane and go up to Philly.
Yeah, that's then I won't be here Monday to talk to you. I mean, I'm all about Craig Fooey and Factor Fooey. I never miss a show. Never.
I never miss a show. That's a great point.
Coach, that's why I said mid-November. You feeling my drift on that?
You like them though, right? You like them. You like these bunch of misfits there in Philly.
I do. You guys are awesome, and I love the Phillies. Yes. Awesome
I love
team.
Philly. I'm not a fan of the guy. I used to like the guy at Channel 10 and 5 and 3, but I think I'm going to go with Philly.
Well, Philly's the other one left, for crying out loud. Everybody else quit. You win by default, Coach.
And then Philly, Philly, I jump around sometimes, if you're not on, and I see this, they're like 12-year-olds doing the sports cast. I mean, what are these young people doing?
Right?
Oh, man.
I know. Where are you going to go with this? Come on. Yeah. You bring the expertise and the adults. Yeah.
Hey, Philly.
Jimmy B is actually that guy.
On a serious note,
thank you, Coach.
I know, as you guys look ahead, this Friday, the Yotes open up at Mullet. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm anxious to see what kind of coverage they'll get here locally, because they haven't got much at all. But it's pretty interesting, and it's kind of in a good way and bad way that they're opening up in a college arena, but. A lot of good positive vibes about this new arena.
Yeah, no, it is, and we'll be there. We're out there. Obviously, we've been talking to the guys over at the Coyotes, and looking forward to that home opener. Obviously, 6 games on the road is tough.
Yeah,
we've gotten them in our shows. We've got the highlights in at night, and or the lowlights, as you would have it. But no, they're the big story here as far as, let me just tell you, as far as newsrooms are concerned, is a professional team playing at Mullet Arena.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's
it.
not so much the team as the arena and the cost of tickets and the attendance and all those kind of things. And what
3 minutes.
As you look in your crystal ball, and I know it's all football right now, it's all Phoenix Suns, and it's the little Coyotes. Do you expect a busy offseason for the Diamondbacks? Because last year was really quiet. I mean, it was one of the quietest offseasons I can recall.
You know what, Rock? You know what? I don't. And the reason I don't is Ken Kendrick has his pockets sewn up. He can't get his hands in them.
Yeah.
So he can't reach in for his wallet. They sewed it up. And so they're not going to spend like the Dodgers or the Padres or the Giants. They're just not. And so how active can you be? I don't know. I know Mike Hazen said, listen, I've never been a big guy on bullpen, but I think we got to look in that direction this offseason.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, but I think your hands are tied with an owner that's not going to spend big money, and Ken Kendrick's not that guy. So, and I jokingly said his pockets are sewn up.
2 minutes.
His wallet won't come out. I mean, it's just he can't get in there to get it. So they're going to be hamstrung with a budget, and that's just the way it's going to be here, and that's the way it's going to stay as long as Kendrick owns the team.
Well, if that's
in my opinion,
yeah, right, I got you. But if that's the case, Coach, they're still going to be looking up then at the Dodgers, Padres, and Giants, right?
Yes, that's a fact. Yeah, listen, we may as well get used to that. The Dodgers have what was their salary, like $7 billion?
Yeah, whatever take 7.2. Yeah.
Oh yeah. We need another player. Okay, let's go get him. What's he going to cost? $100 million. Okay, no problem. Let's get him. I mean, that's the Padres, that's the Dodgers, that's the MO, that's the Yankees, that's the Astros. That's where they play the game.
$263 million.
I've always had a chip on my shoulder about baseball because they don't care, right? It's just like spend what you want to spend. And the rich get richer and win a championship.
Hey, we're all about getting the facts right, like for Factor Philly. $263 million, Benjamin just told us. So 263.
I was going to say 275.
Yeah,
I was going to say 275.
You're in the ballpark, as Manuch would say.
Oh, good one, Rock.
No pun intended. I pulled a Manuch on you and said 7 billion.
Philly, have a great week, buddy. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
That's AG 15's Craig Philly.
That's great.
He's a dinosaur in this business, like you two guys.
He's one of the last of the Mohicans.
And speaking of dinosaurs, we have some classic Mike Leach from Saturday night.
Oh, yeah.
He talked about his players being scared of the Crimson Tide jerseys, to his players having dinosaur hands, and the evolutionary concerns there in Starkville, Mississippi. It's awesome. That's next. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B from Casino, Arizona.
Jody Ayler, now in mornings. Tomorrow from 6 to 10 on Fox Sports 910.
Bear, do you know the human head weighs 8 pounds?
Did you know that Troy Aikman in only 6 years has passed for 16,303 yards? Did you know the career record for most hits is 4,256 by Pete Rose, who is not in the Hall of Fame?
Do you know that my next door neighbor has 3 rabbits?
Now time for Sports 910's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B to give you the random facts of the day driven by your Valley Chevy dealers. Find new roads at your Chevy dealer. For a dealer near you, head to valleychevy.com.
We'll get to the random fact in a moment. I want to get this in today because when Mike Leach talks, we listen.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the most bizarre individuals. I have had some experiences with him privately, and you just sit there and you laugh your you-know-what off. I mean, but after his 30-6 loss to Alabama, he had his presser. And he talked about his players being scared of Alabama and that his players had dinosaur hands. And we're going to play 3 clips. And you got to listen carefully because the first question, we'll get to this one, it's pretty quick, is what is it? This is the question he's being asked. What is it that Alabama does that gives you so much trouble?
I didn't think we played. I didn't think well at all. I'll tell you one thing that they do that gives us trouble. We've got some guys that are afraid of the jersey that says Alabama on it. We spend a lot of time fighting their jerseys. You want to scare some of the guys on our team. Put an Alabama jersey on and scare the hell out of them.
Imagine your coach.
Yep.
Oh my!
He's not lying.
Gets up and says that.
Wow. Talk about inspirational for practice.
It's not like, Mississippi State is a MAC school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're in the SEC.
They are. He's just calling out his team is what he basically is doing right now after that. They only scored 6 points on this Bama team, so obviously they must be afraid of the jersey that comes out there.
They had opportunity after opportunity to put points on the board. And each time it just blew up in their face.
No, it's because they didn't have hands.
Oh.
So he's asked about, the focus going into bye week.
Okay.
And here he is. He kind of goes off on dinosaurs. He talks about his station wagon and going to a gas station to get dinosaurs. It's just classic Leach.
When I was a kid,
He doesn't pot it down.
when I was a kid, I was in grade school, and I was a big dinosaur guy, and I can't remember the gas station. They give you free dinosaur. You get filled up there. That's back when they had commercials. And then they give something to kids like me, and then the idea was she raised that with your parents every time you get in the station wagon. We had one classic, like we give some off of Wonder Years. It was one of those fake Willie ones where it had, fake painted on wood. The thing the best is it always without exception, the finish and the varnish on it. So they would look more focused than ever. So we had one of those. And of course, I tried to sit way back in that jump seat back there, so you could pretend you were in a spaceship or something. And, but anyway, so they'd have these commercials. And when we get the kids raised, let's go to this gas station. I can't remember what gas station. They give you a little dinosaur, and so they spell that, all that. And we start talking about evolution. And, like as in, if you don't use a certain part of your body, it evolves over,
10 seconds. Guys are hot.
In natural selection, that part of the body disappears, and even that animal might disappear.
You're listening to Mike Leach, a press conference after losing to Alabama, talking about dinosaurs and the station wagon growing up.
Uh-huh.
And then now he turns it into how it's a generation from now, their kids and grandkids won't have hands, and how he needs to work on this in the offseason.
Yeah, it's called dropping.
And I'm genuinely fearful that our team,
Guys are pied down.
the other coaches don't get it right. That about a generation from now, their kids and their grandkids won't have hands. Because, from the lack of use, it's just disappear. I mean, and maybe it'll be like this, like those dinosaur hands like this, aren't you see? And you've got like the Tyrannosaurus Rex, who's clearly good at eating things, big little jaws and all that stuff, fairly athletic and run. Those hands are like this. And I think we took a very, very, very big step as a team, which we have to correct this. We have to correct this because, I think that in the end, that it's going to be best for all these guys that they have good hand development and that they don't evolve to where they don't have hands. Okay, but we definitely didn't use ours, and so there certainly wasn't any genetic reinforcement on our part that we should maintain our hands. I mean, and I don't want all of a sudden, the guys driving across this country, and then they get to Starkville, Mississippi.
10 seconds, get hot.
And there's these athletic looking friendly guys. We have great guys that don't have any hands. And I hope that that's not the case. But that's where we're headed.
Isn't that great?
He's awesome.
Oh my God! Way to tongue lash your team by doing a little dinosaur history of the elimination. If you don't use certain body parts, they just go away over the years.
I can't believe that he tied his wide receivers into a Tyrannosaurus Rex like that with a short arm.
The Ray did the Raptor.
And he had me thinking about what gas station was it used to give
Sinclair.
So is it Sinclair?
Yes, yeah. In the presser, they talked about Sinclair. It's just amazing to me. God. He just goes off. And I remember when he was at Texas Tech and they played in the Insight Bowl against Minnesota. Minnesota was up by like 25-30, and they came back one of the biggest comebacks ever.
Right.
And I remember in this press conference, he got up and he said, and each team had 3 liaisons. And I was a Fiesta Bowl guy. So I was with Minnesota, 3, and then there were 3 guys with them. And he said, I didn't want to let my 3 liaison guys lose to the other guys because they were going to lose a dinner bet. That's why we came back and we won the game. And it's like, oh my gosh. And then I remember him getting in an argument with I can't remember the head coach at Idaho, but Idaho and the AD was trying to do a deal with him where they wanted to do a 2-for-1, where, hey, we'll come to your school twice, you come to our school once.
Right.
And Leach is like, I can't say what he said exactly, but he goes, I wouldn't do a 5-to-1. I'm not going to Idaho. It's like, it's just stuff like that. It's just great. Hey, our random fact of the day, just to let you know what's going on, brought to you by Valley Chevy Dealers. Big Thanksgiving turkey shortage.
Ooh.
It's going to cost you twice as much this year because obviously inflation and the carryover from the pandemic and the flu that's going on right now. So if you could get your turkey, I would buy it now because it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Or you go to Miracle Mile and you buy 3 or 4 turkey dinners and do it that way. Get all your fixings and pies and all that kind of stuff.
I'm a ham guy. I don't worry about turkey.
We'll do that at Christmas time. Ham.
Yeah, I use Easter. Random facts of the day every day is brought to you by the Valley Chevy Dealers. Your Valley Chevy dealer serving the Valley for over 80 years. That's right, 80 years. Head to valleychevy.com. Hey, I want to remind you to tune in Thursday. We're going to be broadcasting live from the Twin Peaks in Tempe, thanks to Blue Moon and Coors Light. Make sure you tune in at 2:45 for your chance to challenge one of the beautiful Twin Peaks girls for our Coors Light Blue Moon Peaks picks. Win yourself a man card. That's this Thursday, 1 to 4 from the Tempe Twin Peaks. Hour number 3, we're going to catch up with former Sun Devil and quarterback Rudy Carpenter. We're also going to check in with Frank Sanders. Always enjoy taking him away from the golf course and talking some fun with him. So he will join us, get his thoughts on DeAndre Hopkins being back in this offense. And I think he got a tough road ahead this week in Minnesota. Minnesota's 5-1.
Yeah.
Hey, look, they can play
quietly. Not a lot of people talking about them.
Yep.
Everybody's talking in that division. Everybody's talking about Green Bay and the challenges that Aaron Rodgers and this young team is having. You wonder if Aaron Rodgers is going to at some point say, I don't want to play here anymore. Trade me.
Could be.
You know what?
San Francisco needs a quarterback.
30.
They do.
Well, he had a hell of a backup, that's for sure. I will say this. He threw a pick. Yeah, Brock Purdy came in there and let it right down the field, and Jimmy G couldn't get it done. I think the receiver slipped out of the break. That's what might have happened. Something like that.
It's all in the quarterback. You got to take the good and the
Yeah,
bad.
he will take it. He'll take
We're
it.
live out here at the CAZ Sports Book in the CAZ Sports
10.
Bar. Come on out and join us for tonight's Pats Bears game for Monday Night Football. Enjoy having you. See you soon.
Sponsored by Onyx. 2977-190.
That's how we do. I just like that.
Online at learnerandrow.com. Now time for Calling
Guys,
All
right.
Sports with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on Fox Sports 910.
3 o'clock hour, Roc and Manuch and Jimmy B from the CAZ Sports Bar. Their 22nd year hosting this promotion.
That's amazing.
It really is.
A lot of money.
When you think about how long you have been involved in this promotion. 22 years. I mean,
I must be doing something.
Your relationships don't last 22 years.
No, they really don't.
No.
I'm celebrating 4 right now. Yeah, I mean,
That's a plus. That's a plus.
Yeah, but no, seriously. Yeah, 22 years.
I go back to Rock 1998. You know, we
Wow.
go way back. We're doing his show and then 18
It's
years.
been amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, listen
Best
to
thing
the
ever happened to the
tears.
guy.
Yeah.
I keep him grounded, man.
Yeah.
He does. He's my big brother.
I keep
Big
him grounded.
brother.
What the hell are we doing now? What are we doing?
He went from big brother to grandpa. It just switched. Just to think, hey,
Overnight.
Yeah, like Mike Leach says, either they evolve or they go away.
Isn't that something with Leach's? If you haven't seen it, Google Mike Leach's press conference after Alabama.
Classic.
I mean, I only pulled like 4 minutes of it, but there was so much, and it's classic. It's epic. It's Mike Leach.
Look, I get why he was so disappointed in his team. He has a team that can put points on the board, and he had wide receivers just dropping football after football, and I think he made a great point. He said, yeah, our guys were all afraid because they had Alabama on their chest. That's it.
Yeah, you wonder sometimes, but there's certain guys that move the needle when they talk.
Yeah,
Mike Leach, Charles Barkley, Shaq's becoming one.
Yep.
Shaq is out there doing everything, and he's doing so much good in the community.
He is.
But other than that, I mean, we're here. We got 6 different screens on it right next to us on this big screen, all the boxes. But I don't know when it comes to NFL guys. I mean, Brady, I'm tired of, so I don't listen to him anymore. Aaron Rodgers was that guy for a while. Now he's just weird. So you're just like, okay, it goes in one ear, out the other.
Term.
It's just, he is.
I agree, man.
Maybe weird's not the word.
He's
Bizarre.
just still different.
It's like, dude, it's like when you're a cow, you climbing the trees. I mean, what were you doing? I mean, he's just out there.
Did he use that term?
You can
he
use
has?
that. Yeah, he's eating too many mushrooms.
Yeah, I mean, he's just way out there.
Well, but Mike,
mushroom, I mean, you got Jake Plummer doing the
I know.
business,
He's gonna live forever. I think. You know what? But Mike Leach has a way of hammering his team in a very loquacious way.
But I'll tell you,
Put this. I mean, he the message is loud and clear. I can assure you, what he said out there to the presser, it was very loud and clear in that locker room. You got to catch the damn ball. Sorry, guys.
Yep.
Would you want him in this market? Would you want him at Arizona State?
I would take him in a heartbeat.
I think that'd be a great.
The offense, he lights it up wherever he goes offensively.
He does.
He lights it up. Now, his defenses have been suspect, but you talked about Texas Tech. You talked about Washington State. Look at Mississippi State now. He always has them in the hunt.
They're always.
They just can't stop anybody. And Bama just has his number. Was it 4 wins in a row now, or 4 or 5?
Yep.
They just have his number. And I think he was highly upset, but he did it in such an entertaining way that I'm like, what the hell was that? What was that gas station? We used to get those dinosaurs at. And you guys at Sinclair.
Yeah.
And then talk about the alligator. Sometimes we talk about the dinosaur arms.
Yeah.
You were thinking about how you are tipping.
No.
Alligator arms.
Sometimes when you come across the middle, there's 2 sayings. That receivers sometimes get Tyrannosaurus Rex arms when they can't reach them out, or you get alligator arms when you don't reach out and catch the football. They just can't extend them. In this case, his guys can't catch, so their hands are going to go away eventually.
But he may be onto something. If you watched a lot of the NFL games yesterday, there were so many drop passes, both on offense and defense. I mean, it was a common theme yesterday.
A couple of things we talk about is the lost art of tackling.
Yes.
The lost art of catching a football.
Yep.
And it drives me nuts to watch all these drops all the time on a consistent basis. It used to be back in the day, you might see 1 or 2, but guys catch the ball. And I think a lot of times they get laissez-faire. They use their chest. They don't use their hand. They don't tuck the ball away. And you can see it. And then all of a sudden, like Mike Evans yesterday, I don't think I've ever seen him drop a ball. But he dropped 2 yesterday, and one was a for sure touchdown.
It was a touchdown.
Godwin dropped a couple. Like, something's going on. Yeah, I think that's focus and concentration for guys dropping passes out there.
The football season in the National Football League, it's so bizarre when you look at how we had all these expectations of certain teams that were going to have all this a lot of success. And I don't think any of us would have expected the Jets to be on a 4-game winning streak, the Giants being 5-1, or is it 6-1? 6-1.
Yep.
And
6-1.
And the Seahawks.
Yes.
I mean, everyone's like, oh, they're going to be horrible. Geno Smith? Really?
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's he's the man of the year right now as a comeback player.
And we thought for sure in the NFC West, you're looking at you're pretty much saying, oh, the Rams will be back, San Francisco will be back, and to your point, Rock, Seattle with Geno at 4-3. Cardinals, what could they do without a suspended DeAndre Hopkins? Well, they're kind of holding serve now that he's back. They're fortunate to be at 3-4.
So if you look at, here we are 7-8 weeks in, what is the biggest story, biggest headline in the National Football League?
Oh, man. In the NFL, I'd probably say the Giants. Giants, for me, it's the Giants.
No, never mind.
Well, I'm just reiterating.
Why? You don't need to.
Yeah, I just think they're thinking.
Yeah, we're not talking USFL.
Well, the other thing is on field.
You think it's Geno?
On field, for me, it's the Giants and Geno Smith. Off field, it's this whole minutia surrounding Tom Brady and his play with he and Giselle going through divorce, and that's kind of taken over what's happening on the field. And he's lost all this weight. He's getting skinny and this and that. That's the off-field stuff. But I think for me, it's just the Giants and Geno being that guy. Here he is leading the charge back, and they're not missing Russ whatsoever. And then there's Russ in Denver. Now he's got the quasi-torn hammy. He's basically, talk about fading with that Denver team who they had high hopes.
They did.
For going and winning the NFC West or being a contender to be in the AFC West and challenging the Kansas City Chiefs.
I agree with those two that you mentioned, but I think I got to put Aaron Rodgers. I think this is a disaster. It's permanent. I mean, he's getting testy in these press conferences. Seems like Green Bay always hits a speed bump, right?
Yep,
they do.
Couple,
right?
Yep.
But this one I think is permanent, and then they're going to get blown out.
I agree.
Blown out. Hey, Jackson, find out what the spread is for the Green Bay Buffalo game.
I think it's 11.5 is the last I saw.
Jeez.
But
they're going to get
we'll check it.
destroyed.
Yes.
But this year, it's been so bizarre. They can they can win that game, and then they're 500, and then they're okay.
But here's the thing, guys. What do we expect when you got nothing but
what is it?
You got all rookie quarterback. They got all rookie receivers, and you got a couple older guys, and your line's banged up, and your defense is for naught. I mean, a lot of folks who looked at that said, "Hey, Minnesota would be the odds on." But then you go, "Well, what about Aaron Rodgers? He's done this before, right? They've started off slow. Hell, the year they won the Super Bowl, they had 18 different lineups. They had guys hurt left and right, but they didn't have they had the right guys always available with some of those wins that they had toward the end of the year, and everybody started getting healthy. Hell, they got a guy named Starks as their top running back.
Yep.
Who? And then guys started getting healthy. They go to the wild card. They went through. The next thing you know, you got your team back. That was at the start of the season. They beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in the Super Bowl. Yeah. I mean, it can happen.
There's so many great storylines. You look at Baltimore and Lamar Jackson. He wins a game fewer than 10 completions.
Yes. Yeah.
And, they were doing some trick plays, and he's running the ball as a running back at one play where I think it was the tight end was under center, and he snapped the ball and handed it to Lamar. And, I was like, geez.
That's when you start doing that kind of stuff. That says, we're going to beat you, but we got to get creative on how to score. Because Lamar, after the game last week to the Giants, when he threw a pick with about a minute and a half left, and then he fumbled the ball with about 45 seconds left. I don't know if it shook him up, but maybe John Harbaugh, the head coach, said, you know what? Maybe we really try to help him out, take the ball out of his hands, and not rely on him to win games coming back in the fourth quarter quite yet. Because I think that's the next biggest salvo for Lamar Jackson. We know you can run. We know you can throw, but can you win, number one, a playoff game? And number two, bring a team back in the fourth quarter.
He's brought teams back in the fourth quarter the last couple of years.
But not this year. That's a problem. So
okay,
but he could be in one of those down years, up and down, up and down.
So he's having an inconsistent season so far.
What John Harbaugh saying, look, that's fine, but we can't afford to lose. in this division. We got the Browns and the Steelers. Well, you should win this division going away. We look at the Steelers and the Browns.
No, Cincinnati is going to dominate
Cincy, yeah.
that
Hey,
division.
Joe Burrow is looking great. If he's not your quarterback tomorrow, Manuch, he's got to be. I already put his sound in there tomorrow.
Yes,
for the
There you
lineup.
go. Three touchdowns, and he ran one in.
Yeah,
too.
well, he ain't got any.
And what he's been able to accomplish, I think this is a pretty remarkable stat in that he has been just on absolute fire. Let me find the stat real quick because
we had 5 touchdowns total yesterday, 4 throwing and 1
he
running.
tied Matthew Stafford for the 4th fastest quarterback to reach 9,000 yards in just 33 games.
He's a stud.
He and
stud coming in.
Patrick Mahomes had some pretty damn good games yesterday. So yeah, I think
Patrick Mahomes got off to a slow start.
He
Now
did.
I was like, whoa, what's
Well,
going on? Then he turned
they're
around.
down 10-zip. All of a sudden, it's like they thrive on being down. It's like, okay, now
They turn it on when they need to turn.
Yeah, it's like the playoff game several years ago when they won the Super Bowl. They were down with 21-something.
They were.
Tennessee. Oh, remember that Tennessee? Yeah, don't remind us.
You guys have been around a lot longer than I have. When did the NFL start timing runs speed-wise? Because Kenneth Walker of the Seahawks yesterday.
Oh, my gosh.
22 miles an hour on his 74 TD run. The fastest speed by a ball carrier ever in the National Football.
And
22 miles an hour.
And he
My
surpassed.
moped as a kid didn't go that fast.
Yeah, really. And he surpassed Brees Hall of the Jets,
Who might be out for the year.
who went on a 62-yard run in Denver and then blew his knee.
That sucks. The kid's awesome.
But to answer your question, it has just been in the last
it's
2
a
years.
new thing.
In the last 2 years.
Yeah, it's just a new
That's it.
thing. I mean, because I think of some of the running backs that we were playing with or played against. You think of some of the speeds that they
you
had.
really couldn't see it because it was black and white. So
No, man.
Hey, let me tell you about 72 Sold. They're your easiest way to sell a home for top dollar. They made the Inc. 500 list for the fastest growing real estate company in America. And they've been featured on Forbes, ABC, CBS, NBC. You'd be crazy to sell your home any other way. So for the easiest, fastest, most profitable way to sell your home, just head to 72 Sold. We've been talking about it for the last month. They are an incredible company. They're the official real estate partner of the Cardinals, Diamondbacks, Roc and Manuch, and Jimmy B. Come on. I mean, we're in the same lineup as the Cardinals and the Diamondbacks.
Yep.
So go to 72sold.com and get a higher price for your home. That's 72sold.com. Rudy Carpenter is going to join us next. Talk some Arizona State football with him, as well as Cardinals Saints from last Thursday. And then we'll catch up with one Frank Sanders, former Arizona Cardinal. It's next as we continue on from the Casino Arizona new sports book called the CAZ Sports Book, and it's in the CAZ Sports Bar.
And really, I thought at least in the second half, they get goose eggs in the second half. But I thought that even with that phenomenal catch by Badger, just out of bounds, I just kind of felt that there was maybe a need in that second half, maybe midway, late third quarter, get Trenton Bourguet back, or at least in the game, because I thought he flowed pretty well in his upset against Washington, just to change the pace to get some life going.
Yeah, and I think that's the hard thing, because when you look at what he did against the University of Washington, you have to be impressed, and you have to wonder, if you're a fan, what Trenton would be like as the starter, especially with a few weeks of practice and maybe even more weeks of playing and getting used to game level, et cetera, right? But you also look at Emory Jones and you feel like, well, I mean, he didn't play terrible in the first half. I mean, there were some other things that went on, and it wasn't necessarily him. And so, like you said, Dan, I mean, as a former quarterback, you want to give him that leash and you want to give him that leeway to put a drive or two together. But again, I'm with you. I mean, sometimes it's not even about making a long-term decision. Sometimes it's just, hey, for this half, we need someone to come in here and give us a spark. And next week, we'll probably still go back to Emory. But we need a spark or something right now. And I think as a coach, you should be able to do that without igniting some huge controversy.
All right, then. So does Aguano then make it evident that, we're going to go with Emory Jones? Colorado.
To me, we're asking way too many questions. I mean, does Sean Aguano want to be the head coach of Arizona State, or does he not? State. If you're Sean Aguano, you want to be the head coach of Arizona State. There's one way to be the head coach of Arizona State: to win games. Yeah. So if I'm Sean Aguano, I don't care about anybody on this roster. My viewpoint is all of you guys were recruited by Herm Edwards and the coaching staff. I love all you guys the same. I want to give all of you guys a great experience. But at the end of the day, this is Division I football. So I need to put the guys on the field who are going to give me, the team, and this university the best chance to win. And so, to me, if I'm Sean Aguano, that's where my allegiance is.
I also think that's one of those things that, okay, the kid moved the team. Emory had a tough day, but it's all about the wins. Hey, let's move on to the Cardinals. Want to get your thoughts about how much D-Hop, watching DeAndre Hopkins in that game against 14 targets, 10 catches, where you saw minimum catches split out through, or does it make a difference?
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show you how stupid I am, right? Like, I come on that and I'm like, oh, man, the Arizona Cardinals talk about DeAndre Hopkins, act like he's going to be the savior. He's going to come and change everything. He comes in and he does exactly that. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, like, I guess those guys know a little bit better because they're practicing. And there's no doubt that when you're the Arizona Cardinals, of course you know that getting DeAndre Hopkins back is going to severely or significantly help your offense. I mean, look, I make fun of myself, but I've also said that too. I mean, you got to have dogs in the NFL, and if you don't have your best players playing, you don't have a chance to win. So, of course, DeAndre Hopkins coming back, I think, is going to make a big difference. 14 targets, that's a lot. But what it does opening up other guys on the field, what it does with the coverages and how other teams are going to play this football team, what it does to help Kyler essentially make the defense cover every single blade of grass. I think it does a lot for Kyler. Yes, DeAndre got a lot of targets, but Kyler spread the ball around other places too. I think the real question, and maybe the real worry, comes with, does Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray see the answer now as maybe we're a football team that needs to throw it 60 times a game? Is that how we're going to win? I mean, this was a great win for the Cardinals. There's no doubt. I can't hate. But the Saints, to me, are an average football team.
Yeah. And really that leads me to my next question, reference to, once D-Hop and Robbie Anderson get up to speed, and Rondale Moore in the fold, and Dortch, and also Zach Ertz, your tight ends. Do you feel this could be a top 5 type offense if they get their act together, guys get on the same page with the talent to get on the field at the same time?
Well, yeah, and I think that's been the frustration with everybody, is they have that expectation. And I also think being fair from Kyler's standpoint and from Cliff's standpoint and Steve Keim and the organization, what they've been saying is probably the same thing. Like, man, we're happy to be where we're at right now. We had our best players suspended. We had a bunch of injuries. Why don't you people relax on the outside? We feel really good about this, especially when you look at maybe an injury to DK Metcalf in Seattle and how that affects them. You look at the loss that the Niners just had and, you know, what kind of goes on there. This division's still open. In all actuality, the entire NFL, I mean, the Chiefs are playing great. Bills are playing pretty good, but a lot of people still have a chance. So the Cardinals probably feel like, hey, we're in a great spot. If we can get everybody healthy, if we can get Robbie Anderson up to speed and DeAndre Hopkins playing DeAndre Hopkins level football, and some of these guys can come back from injuries, we're going to be in a really, really, really good spot. And that might be true.
Hey, Manuch, you there?
You know, we'll see. What it's going to come down to is execution, clock management, situational management, and that's something that's to be desired so far by this Arizona football team and this coaching staff, really since the entire time they've been here.
Rudy, I want to go to the little dust-up on the sidelines between quarterback and coach. I found it highly entertaining, and I'll just say that I couldn't believe the way some people reacted to it, like, what is going on? Why are they doing it? That stuff happens all the time in professional sports. Am I right with that?
Well, I think it's one of the funny things. I mean, like, especially for someone like me who was never scared to get in the mix of anything. Like, there are times now where, like, I'll talk to people on the phone and it gets confrontational. My wife is like, "Oh my God!" She's like sitting in a corner, and I'm like, "This is like everyday normal stuff." Like, that happens regularly. Like, me and this dude, our homies, like, we're fine after this, and she's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it." So look, I think probably for, like, the real world and regular people, like, that type of interaction is rare and never happens. But in our world, it's emotional, it's intense, it's ego, there's so many things to it, and that stuff happens sometimes. And to me, it doesn't bother me. Sometimes that stuff needs to happen. It really strengthens relationships. Sometimes it's really just all about if guys can remain professional in that instance. A good example is the Carolina Panthers didn't think Robbie Anderson could remain professional in that instance, whereas in other situations with Cliff and Kyler, it's no big deal.
Hey,
and everybody moves on.
Tom Brady, are you gonna be okay, or we gotta have some concern here with him struggling?
I have to be totally honest.
Hey, I can't find because I went through the game and there's not really a good highlight of Hopkins.
Should not criticism because he obviously.
Yeah, well, I'm still trying to find another one. I don't want to use the Hail Mary one again because it's kind of overused.
But the fact that people want to include his family life and his marriage and all this other stuff.
I tried to find the one from the Eagles a couple years ago, but I can't find it.
Just goes to show where we're at as a society. I mean, there's kids involved in this. This is real life people. Yep. It's just, I mean, of course, probably some of his personal life bleeds over into work, and he throws a tablet and freaks out on people. I mean, the dude's going through a $500 million divorce. It's just, I don't know, that's kind of weird to me. But from a playing standpoint, look, they're not playing good, and it's a real struggle for them right now.
Have a good week, Rudy. Thanks for the time as always.
All right, guys. Thank you.
That's Rudy Carpenter joining us here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Always enjoy him joining us. You can follow him on Twitter at RudyGCarp12, and he is brought to you by All City Towing, and they are hiring. They're growing, and they need you. Go to allcitytowing.com. Currently have immediate full-time positions and part-time available with incredible benefits, including a 401k program with a generous company match, and the fastest way to apply is online at allcitytowing.com. So check it out, allcitytowing.com. Just search career. So how much influence did DeAndre Hopkins have on this Cardinals offense last week? Well, we're going to find out next, as former Cardinal receiver Frank Sanders will join us next to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on Fox Sports 910 live from the CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona.
What's trending on Fox Sports 910 Phoenix?
Cardinals coach Cliff Kingsbury met with the media today. Among the topics covered were the possible returns of running back James Conner and center Rodney Hudson for Week 8 against the Vikings. The Coyotes play the last of their 6-game road trip against the Blue Jackets tomorrow with their Mullet Arena debut coming up Friday versus the Jets. Arizona men's hoops forward Azulis Tabelis was named to the preseason All Pac-12 first team. Wildcat guards Kerr Kriisa and Pella Larson made the second team. No first teamers for ASU basketball, but forward Marcus Bagley and guard DJ Horn did make the second team. I'm Frank Arity on Fox Sports 910, available everywhere on the free iHeartRadio app.
This is the Parker & Sons Weather Center. For all your AC, plumbing, and electric needs, call Parker.
I'm Celeste Rodriguez with your Fox 10 weather experts. Feeling like fall this week with a high of 73 on your Monday, overnight low 52. Tuesday, sunny and 77 with an overnight low of 54. And Wednesday, warming to 80 degrees.
This report is sponsored by Rooter Ranger.
Hi, I'm Jordan, the owner of Rooter Ranger Plumbing. We guarantee our $47 drain special is the lowest in the market. If you can find a lower price, we will be it.
887 Ranger, get you out of plumbing danger.
CAZ Sports Bar and Casino Arizona isn't just the Valley's home for sports anymore. Now we're also your new home for sports betting. And we're serving up everything you're hungry for. Non-stop action, fan favorite food, the coldest beer, and the hottest picks.
Go to PHNX.com.
46 spectacular 4K screens and 2 theater-quality projection screens. The Casino Arizona Sportsbook and the CAZ Sports Bar. We're your home for sports betting, Arizona.
Want to win?
I was in the meetings. Everyone thinks that.
$5,000. It's never too late to play. Just head to fanpick'em.com. Powered by Twin Peaks, Blue Moon, and Coors Light. Win man cards every week. That's fanpick'em.com.
I often get asked, how can Lerner & Rowe effectively handle DUI and criminal cases when you guys are a personal injury law firm? The answer is simple. We're good at it. Lerner & Rowe Law Group is a separate law firm from Lerner & Rowe Injury Attorneys, and we have some of the most experienced criminal defense attorneys.
Still no Frank, guys.
One of only a few certified criminal attorneys in Arizona who have handled thousands of criminal and DUI cases, and we offer affordable payment plans. Getting the defense you need is one phone call away.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Doesn't rock, I know.
As here, we know how important it is to be confident in all of life's close-up moments.
You didn't answer.
Can rob you of your confidence.
Yeah, it can. Whenever I'm rubbing elbows with celebrities or friends or just chilling at home, I got to make sure I have the confidence that comes with smart mouth.
All right, guys, 30 seconds. He's not answering.
Eliminate and prevent bad breath for 20.
I'll get rid of his open.
Just 2 rinses a day.
Get to your favorite retailer right now for that kind of better together.
Yeah, I got a new bumper.
Your favorite retailer or at smartmouth.com/radio.
DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner.
You guys are hot.
I'm out here to do it. Easy spot for tonight's Bears Patriots game. Pretty historic night tonight for Coach Belichick. Passing George Halas.
Second all time, absolutely.
Yep.
Coached a long time as a head coach.
So we've been doing this promotion for 22 years now. We give away cash just for watching football. So if you're looking for a place to watch the Bears and the Pats, this is the place. Right here in the new CAZ Sports Book in the CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona. If you got all that, just come to Casino, Arizona 101 in McKellips. We do it multiple ways to win cash. You get a square, 10-minute mark, the first quarter and the third quarter. It's worth $25 if the numbers hit. Props, and we have 10 different props. So we pull out a name when a prop happens.
He's here.
First running touchdown, we give you $25. And we have our kickoff jackpot, which is just right under, just a tad under $1,500. So we'll hit that after the first kickoff. So that's tonight too. And just for watching football here at Casino, Arizona. Well, he's part of the Go PHNX podcast family, and he's a former Cardinal, and we consider him a friend. We really do.
I would think so.
Yes, Frank Sanders joins us now on the Right to It, a guest on here on Fox Sports 910. How are we doing this this beautiful, beautiful Monday? Hole 10, 12, where you at?
You get 36 in. You get 36 in today, Frank?
No, but my weekend was 36 since we played on Thursday night. Friday, Saturday, golf events. Yes, but I'm at the office right now, man. I'm trying to make 10 cents look like $2 right
now. Creative financing, right, Frank?
Yes, sir.
So, Frank, I want to get your thoughts going back to Thursday. Hopkins, 103 yards, 10 receptions. They used him in a lot of different areas in the slot. He was all over the place. Where do you think he's best at when it comes to where he should be?
Oh, honestly, it just depends on the play calling and the formation and what you're really trying to get out of it. What you're trying to get out of it. I mean, you can either use him from a disguising standpoint, in the slot area, or you can put him on the outside and work him. This is the funny part about this, Rock, is that we saw an entirely different offense that we've seen in one game that we didn't see the entire season.
So true.
And so what you saw out of one player, they specifically found ways to get the ball to him. They moved him around. Our formation was 2 tight ends. We ran twin set. We ran ace set. We moved him around so much that it was beautiful to see. And that's the offense we've been asking for. We've been asking to see more of Trey McBride, Zach Ertz, and then we've also been asking to see more of just a 2-receiver set to kind of, just eliminate the 4 and 5 wide receivers. So Kyler can be more focused on what needs to happen. And I think that we saw that, but we saw something that was entirely different than we've seen the entire year with this offense.
Frank, I think it was great to see, and eventually I think it'll start to open up more and more and more. There's sometimes you got to be careful of having too good of a thing and relying on that quite a bit and not reading some things down the field to maybe some of the open receivers or maybe that first choice versus going to that security blanket.
No, I agree with you 100%. I think that, New Orleans, being that they were also a team that, that were beat up, a lot of their starters were not there as well. There's definitely, Lattimore, their starting cornerback wasn't there. And so it kind of gave a little bit more room to kind of play with D. Hops. I agree with you 100%. The guy had 15 targeted throws and walked away with, just a little bit over $100 and 100 yards. And I think that, we found ways to give him the ball, but next week, I agree with you 100%. Next week, we will see Minnesota do 100 something totally different. They're going to double team. They're going to double team D. Hops and make sure that since he's your number one piece right now, we're going to remove that chess off the board, and we're going to see if there's anybody else that wants to beat us.
So having said that, with Robbie Anderson getting a good, another 10 days per se of learning more of the offense, how do you think or how do you feel he should be incorporated? Very similar to what Hollywood Brown was like, and can you see more of a Rondale Moore getting more involved as well, too, going against that Minnesota defense?
Speaking of Robbie, I hope to see, with the system that we just had before, with, just what we saw versus New Orleans, not the 4 and 5 wide receiver system where, we basically leave Kyler back there to pick left or right. I would like to see the same system we ran against New Orleans actually, go take that same system and move it on and figure out that's what's working for us. It allowed us to, rush the ball. It allowed teams to kind of not just, lock in on one thing. They had to put guys in the box that kind of free our receivers up on the outside. If that's the case when it comes to Robbie Anderson, I would like to see him and D. Hops just basically go out there and attack teams, and then that gives Kyler a decision to make. Either I'm going high and low, either I'm going high or I'm going low. And I think that in itself will kind of, free our offense up and free him up to make the accurate throws that he displayed last week versus New Orleans. But when we come to Rondale Moore, I think there's just so many more options that we can use him for what we've been doing. They threw a couple fade routes. I was happy to see that. They allowed it just not to just be that little dink and dunk screen stuff. But with these 3 receivers, we can see that we potentially have a good set of guys to go out and attack other defenses. It's just how we call the plays.
Frank, you referenced the upcoming opponent, the Minnesota Vikings. They're like the Rodney Dangerfield of the NFL. They get no respect at all. Can you enlighten us and the listeners a little bit on what they do and how come they have been so successful early here in the NFL this year?
Hey, look, they get the Rodney Dangerfield because they quarterbacks cover. It's just hilarious. The guy gets $27 to $30 million over the last 10 years, and he hasn't went to the playoffs, and he hasn't won a championship, and yet he's still one of the highest, one of the most. He's one of the best paid quarterbacks in the NFL. That's not laughable. That's good business sense if you want to use it from that standpoint. But just from the Minnesota defensive standpoint, it's a defensive-minded coach. They still have a good front four, and they've done a very good job of bringing their secondary. These guys, they will come to hit you, and they're very good cover corners. But what you do see is that they constantly still try to establish the running game while having, 1 to 2 good receivers on the outside. And so I think that's something where, if they're able to get out of their own way, they'd probably be a better team than what they've been able to show. The Cardinals got their hands full. They got a good running game in Cook. They also have a good front four, probably equal to or better front four than what we saw with New Orleans. So the Cardinals can't. It's not a game to take for granted. They always come ready to play defensively, and when the Cardinals are going that way, you know how it is in that stadium. It's always crazy. They're going to bring the noise, and the Cardinals definitely got to, try to take the sail out of their flight, out of their boat, man, before they get started.
Frank, do you think it'd be a little different vibe though there in Minnesota, because you got Kevin O'Connell as the head coach. He was the OC with the Rams last year's coming to the Super Bowl, and you alluded to Coach Zimmer as a defensive guy. So maybe with the offensive-minded head coach, we might see a little more juice than we have in one Kirk Cousins.
But it's going to be special. I think that our team has to defensively. I think that when you look at what we present to Kirk, I think he's the one that will be. I'm hoping that he pulls another Andy Dalton.
Okay.
I think that Vance Joseph has done a very good job of kind of mixing things up defensively, and I think that Kurt has been one of those guys that he can get hot, but he also can get very cold. And I think that's just something that we have to trust out of our defense, that these guys are going to do. They're going to have a game plan for these guys. But what I'm scared of is the running game. And they don't have no problem with Mr. Cook, eating up 100 yards or more with that offense over there.
He's Frank Sanders, Roc and Manuch with GB, Fox Sports 910. So, Frank, tell us more about the story that was done on you and what your passion is giving back to the community. You're heading up Mission 57. Tell us all about that.
And look, what's funny about that, man? It's an opportunity for kids that are, definitely out of the Gilbert area, but the Super Bowl committee, along with Gen Youth, Isogenics, the board of the Arizona Board of Dairy here has really tried to put together a plan where they're going to try to end, student hunger here in Arizona. They created something called Mission 57. Mission 57 is student hunger, but the idea is to create these grab and go carts that sit outside, of different areas on the campus where the kids can just kind of, go grab breakfast, go to class, not be worried about, their stomach or beat that. It would allow them to focus, have better clarity, and it's really, really a great cause. I think that surprised me more than anything was that I realized, Rock, that I was that kid. I'm a kid that came through free lunch. Yeah, I came through free lunch and and breakfast and at the schools that I grew up in. And while they're doing that for, kids around the valley, it only allows you as a kid, man, to really not be concerned about, food, where it's coming from. In some of these places, these kids they don't always get breakfast. Sometimes their parents are already out of the house. But it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter wherever you are. We all need breakfast, right?
Yep.
We all need to have a solid breakfast. We all need to have something. So what I did about the event, man, and having an opportunity to get involved was the fact that in the NFL, every locker room has basically a grab and go refrigerator somewhere in there, so we can grab our, whatever is our protein shakes, or grab a quick something in order to go into the locker, in order to go into the meetings to kind of focus and get ourselves together. But what we did the other day over at Harris Elementary was pretty special. And the Super Bowl committee CEO Jay, she was there, and the mayor, Miss Peterson, she was there of Gilbert, and it just turned out to be something really cool because the kids got a chance to realize and see the people who really care about them, having breakfast and being able to focus and get themselves right through school.
So, Frank, what can we do? What can people listening do? What's the next step to keep this going?
Honestly, what I realized, what I thought was pretty special, was that the parents got involved even more once they saw that the grab and go was something that was taking place at their schools. Look, the NFL and the Super Bowl committee is doing an excellent job of trying to facilitate getting all these grab and go carts in the schools that's here in Arizona. As a parent, I would definitely say continue to talk to your superintendents. Make sure that the principals know that these things are available, and that they should be able to take part of this. And I think that as long as the parents still do their part of speaking out on behalf of their kids, man, and getting this free breakfast. But it's really cool. Like it's got all kind of dairy products, vegetables, little snacks, things that you and I would love to eat. But I think that, Rock, you're not as healthy as what's on the thing, so you might need like a burger or maybe some chicken, pizza, or fried chicken or something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't you owe me a lunch when I beat you in golf? I mean, don't you owe me a lunch? I mean,
I definitely owe you lunch, man. I would love to take you
I'm kidding.
I would love to take you to some of our wonderful Look, we need to go play golf, me and you. I know you got a new set.
I'm coming out of retirement. I haven't played in 2 months. I'm ready to go. Club that I play at, it's opening next week. We've been closed for overseeding, so it's time to go.
Look, anytime you want these hands, you just call your boy up. I'm serving them.
Love it.
I'm serving them in the valley, and I don't want to limit just the south side of the valley. I want to go a little north. So anytime you want to see these hands, holler at your boy.
You got it, buddy. We love you, man. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Frank. That's Frank.
All right, guys. Have a good
See
one.
you, Frank. Check him out on GoPHNX. It does a great job. We'll continue. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
Seven 1900. Lerner and Rowe, voted Arizona's best law firm.
You don't think when Bryce Harper signed that mega deal to come here, he had visions of having a huge hit to send his team to the World Series. He's one win, and in this case, one swing perhaps, from the World Series. Harper.
Guys are hot. 5 seconds.
Left center field. Back it goes. Harper, the swing of his life.
That was pretty cool, especially if you're rooting for the Phillies like I am. Signature moment for him. Mike Schmidt type moment. The 2-time NL MVP heading to his first World Series, playing the best baseball of his career. 2-run homer there in the 8th. Clinched the series, and the entire town of Philadelphia just went absolutely bonkers. I mean, just absolutely bonkers. A guy that signed the big deal, leaves Washington D.C. They win the World Series after
How
he
ironic,
leaves.
huh?
Yeah. And he's getting paid the big bucks,
Sure.
and he proved why. And a legend in the making there, and what he did. And that's a moment that people will talk about for many, many years in Philadelphia. For those especially that were there, watched it live, what have you. That will be the day that they remember when Bryce did what he did. And who knows what we may see in the World Series if they can get by Houston. There's a lot of great storylines with Dusty Baker finally. Yeah, will he get his ring? He's one of the best managers in the sport, but he has not won a World Series. He's been there twice. He's hungry. He deserves a win. Love to see that. Last year of his contract there for a Phillies team, a bunch of misfits. Coach Girardi coached the first 51 games of the year. They pulled the plug on him. There were 7-8 games under 500 at the time in June, and here they are. They get into the playoffs and they make it happen. And now the World Series will start on Friday in Houston and Saturday in Houston. Then it'll start in Philly on Halloween on Monday. Go 3 there, and then if necessary, 2 more back in Houston.
The rarity of it to fire a manager, a coach, and that team to go to a world title,
Yep.
whether it be Super Bowl or World Series, whatever, is few and far between, guys. I mean, that just doesn't happen to have a guy, switch. I know the ownership said we're underachieving. He called it. The owner called, put Thomas in there, replaced him.
And if you look at the difference of these two teams, I mean, the Astros are an awesome franchise right now. I mean,
They are.
This is the 4th pennant in 6 seasons, and a second straight year in the World Series. They had 24 more wins than the Phillies did during the regular season. As you mentioned, the skipper, 7 games under 500 when Rob Thompson took over. It's a great story, and Philadelphia, love them or hate them, the city for whatever reason, it's pretty hot right now. Other than the Sixers haven't started off good, but Eagles are undefeated. Their soccer team is really good, and now the baseball team is celebrating Red October.
Enjoy the ride while you can. I mean, it's very rare when you get your football team is undefeated and your team's going to the World Series. I remember that when they made the move with Thompson, that they talked with Bryce Harper. Those guys said, "Look, we need to pick it up." There were some injuries, and they felt the onus on them as a ball club to also pick up their game, so to speak. I remember that one article. Bryce Harper said, "Look, I suck right now," and they picked it up. And
the thing happened was the Phillies were on a I think a West Coast swing, and they had a really tough schedule with the Dodgers and Padres, and then Bryce went out. He had a shot, so he was gone for a couple weeks, and they just plummeted, and that's when they decided to make the change. So let's dive into what's on tap tonight.
What's on tap? Powered by 72 Soul. A look at the top sports action tonight on TV. Get our price, a higher price at 72soul.com.
Well, you got some football here at Casino Arizona. Bears and Patriots from New England. Game gets started at just after 5 o'clock. I encourage you to come on down here to 101 of McKelp's Casino Arizona, the CAZ Sports Bar. Aside from that, you're gonna go watch television. All you're gonna be able to watch right now is football or 5 days leading up to the World Series.
I
talk.
know. Why are they taking so long?
Brutal. You wish they could move it up, but I'm not, because I booked my flight to Houston
you did.
in advance. So it was good to know when it was.
Manuch, it's you and me again.
That's
kid.
right, buddy.
Yeah,
We're ready to rock and roll.
That's it.
But tomorrow you can look forward to the Suns hosting the Warriors and the Blue Jackets hosting the Yotes. And then Thursday you get the Thursday Night Football, Friday, Saturday. But World Series Game 1 does start 5 o'clock on Fox on Friday. Looking ahead locally, USC is at Arizona. Arizona coming off the bye week. That's 3 o'clock on the Pac-12 Network. And Arizona State will be in Colorado. That game's on ESPNU at 4:30. And then, of course, we are your home for the National Football League. We got 49ers Rams on Sunday.
Yeah.
That's a good one. So there's your What's on Tap. It's powered every day by Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. They are America's leading home selling program, 72 Souls. We've been talking about it quite a bit. It's the easiest way to sell your home for top dollar, top cash. So for the fastest, most profitable way to sell your home, to get top dollar, head to 72sold.com. Get a higher price for your home. Go to 72sold.com.
Rock, if I get to our State 48 Roofing, get your call question of the day, which you can still go to @Roc and Manuch on Twitter. With D-Hop back in the fold and a revamped defense, hopefully, what do you feel the chances are percentage-wise that they can make the playoffs? Now, here's your choices. 100%, 75%, 50%, and or 25%. The winner so far, 50%, 57.1% said 50%, and then 21.4%, so 75%, 25% are all tied at 21.4%. So folks are giving them more than 50% they can make the playoffs.
I would think so.
That's how I voted, too.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it was encouraging what you saw, despite the fact that the Saints were depleted with a lot of their star players not available to play in that game. It still was an entertaining game, and it was a W.
And hopefully they can hold serve until everybody gets healthy again. Hopefully Hollywood Brown comes back with 4 or 5 games left. The Robbie Anderson, D-Hop, the defense has made some adjustments. And you got Connor back. It looks like Williams may be one of the individuals that might be on the trading block for the Cardinals, see if they get insurance.
Our progressive jackpot tonight will start at just over $1,400. Wow. A lot of money.
Can I play?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes. Can you reach the board?
If I have a ladder.
We got a stool here.
I got a ladder.
Jimmy, you're always welcome, buddy. Always welcome.
10.
Come on out, join us, Casino Arizona. It's the Pats and the Bears. Should be a good one here from the CAZ Sports Bar.
Good night.